All righty, welcome. I hope you all have a great weekend and started off right here with About Your House. We're going to have a show today about our kids, our students, and farming. Not farming, growing, gardening. Billy Stiles is going to join me in the 10 o'clock hour, but between now and then, we're going to talk about put tools in schools and our education system and a few little issues we've got now. And we're not I want to tell everybody straight up. I mean, David Richardson, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ray.
I invited David in here because, well, I just felt like we needed to have another talk. You were here the day after Christmas, I believe
Yes,
it was,
sir. That's
26th
correct.
of December.
Mhm.
Nobody's listening on that day because it's Christmas.
Yeah.
But we're going to have kind of a Well, actually, this show is going to be better than that show. Much better because a lot's happened between December 26th and today, in our political and economic and all the arenas. And a lot of things have come to light. A lot of things have come to light. And we're going to talk about at least our opinion. You got a country boy and David Richardson. Where you from, David?
Western Lincoln County.
Western Lincoln County.
Yeah.
And you were raised there,
Oh,
still
yeah.
live there today.
Yeah. That's a family land bought 1794 from the state of North Carolina.
I hear you. From the state of North Carolina.
Yeah, 1794.
1794. You have been in the family a bit.
Yeah, I've been around.
Yes, sir, it has. And you're still there and going to die there.
Oh, yeah.
How many kids you got?
4.
You got 4 kids?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what age?
Yeah, 22 to 36.
So you've raised 4 kids.
Yeah.
And been a father, been a community guy, an activist, would you say?
Oh, yeah. Very active in a lot of different.
Very community, politically, and everything else, active in your community.
Right.
Yeah. From Lincoln County.
Oh, yeah.
Got it. And now you got Ray Terry here, Southern boy from Mecklenburg County, born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, on concrete. So we got a dirt boy and a concrete boy.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're going to give you our opinions. I was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, went to school here, Behringer Elementary, Sedgefield Junior High. That was when it was junior high school. And then I graduated from Garinger High School in 1970. I'm going to Garinger here about 1 o'clock, which is a disaster in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg system. But you don't hear about it on the news. But believe me, there's some issues over there that need to be talked about. And I'm just going to kind of hit the surface, and you can go find out and do your resource work all you want and figure out what's wrong. But actually what's wrong is we're going to tell you. We're going to talk about what we think is drastically wrong with our education system as a whole, and what we, community, can do about it. Hopefully. At least our opinions.
Right.
And you don't have to agree. I mean, but one thing I want to say going in, I love teachers. Teachers are teachers because they're trying to do the right thing, and they definitely have a passion for helping our youth, be it first graders or seniors. But it's become harder and harder. Well, what do you think, Dave?
Well, yeah, it's more difficult, and true teachers have become the educational scapegoats. So our education policy is failing, and we blame teachers. And then our society as a whole is degenerating, and we blame teachers. So teachers are kind of in the middle of the sandwich, if you will.
And what really gripes me is they're the worker bees.
Right.
They're the ones actually that care the most because, see, and God, I'm really, now this is from my perspective, and I'm not going to apologize for what I've witnessed and seen, because I've been involved with it for over pushing 40 years. Okay. And when I say involved with it, I've been active on the peripheral, and I've always been on the outside looking in to the education arena, and I've seen it deteriorate through the years. And when they took shop and creativity and imagination out of schools, they changed the makeup of education totally. Because the only time we learn as human beings, and I've said this many times, is in application. You never learn anything unless you apply it, right?
Correct.
I mean, you can memorize facts, but the facts aren't validated until you apply them.
And the problem is today with facts is there's this thing called AI.
Oh,
And if
gosh.
all you know is facts, then what's your purpose anymore?
Thank you. Actually, AI, I'm scared to death of it because we've turned to the robots in your hand for all the answers. And I want to bring this up right now, going in. Maybe it's not the time, but I'm going to say it anyway. I went into a classroom last Monday night to teach kids. Actually, we were going to cut parts for birdhouses, middle school kids. And I went in there, and right off the bat, I walked in the room, and there's 8 smartphones on the table in front of kids. And I immediately said, the phones have got to go or I'm going. I don't mean to be threatening or whatever, but because I've witnessed how disruptive these phones are to education. Was it a problem at your school? When I went up to your career day,
Right.
I noticed I was blown away because I didn't see any phones.
Yeah. Now up in my neck of the woods, if you will, we're still pretty strict on that.
And should be.
Yeah, but and just exactly what you said. However, there are school systems that allow, and I call these an electronic babysitter. So
Exactly.
right, yeah. So if I can get you to concentrate on that phone, then I can just float through life.
Right. They're so disruptive.
Right.
Because I'm in there trying to, teach or inspire or tickle their fancy or, at least excite some imagination and creativity within. Because that's what I do.
Right.
That's my goal because, see, most kids want to play with tools.
That's right.
And this is a great example that they have all day long. Well, anyway, as an educator, I wouldn't tolerate it.
Right.
No way.
Right.
No. I'm not going to be on the phone administrating or talking or teaching in front of you. Now, what gives you the right to sit there? And I even looked at this one child. Look, I get it, but it's not tolerated.
Right.
And he looked up at me and says, I was texting my mom. I said, I don't care who you're texting.
I don't care if it's president.
I don't care.
The Pope.
Put the phone down.
That's right.
Well, that was the last time I said that night that I was going to do it. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And then I've gone into schools before, and I've been in 35 different high schools, or schools, not necessarily high. And I've been told, don't bother her about her phone. Don't say anything about the phone. That's the problem. We don't create any disciplines around this stuff.
Don't rock the boat.
Don't bother people.
You don't want to hurt their feeling, Trey. Come on now.
But this is out of hand. Out of hand. I mean, but anyway, the other night, Monday night, I told the kids straight up, I said, we're collecting the phones. So get over it. If you're going to pitch a fit, go ahead and get it over with because we're taking the phones. And the class went absolutely wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
No disruptions. Screens go away. All screens are put up. And, but, this is a problem we have in our lives, everybody, because these damn phones get in the way. People riding down the road on their phones.
It's like there's some people in our society, or maybe a globalist society, that want these phones to be in the way.
They are in the way. They got their wish.
Oh, okay.
Well, didn't they?
Maybe, yeah.
Didn't they?
Okay, yeah.
Everywhere you go. Other night, I went to have dinner, and I'm sitting at the bar there, and everybody's on the phone.
Yeah.
Look, I didn't get on the radio this morning or behind this microphone to gripe about telephones, but it's in our education system. In Charlotte, Mecklenburg, I've witnessed it. It's a total disruption to teachers, and it shouldn't be tolerated. And that's what I got to say.
That's true. And there's really no debating something that's obviously that true.
Well, you know what? We could get really educated about it and not hurt feelings and figure out all the philosophy and the psychology and all that behind these administrative decisions. I go back down to common sense. It's just common sense stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get simple. Keep it simple, stupid. We don't do that, though, do we?
No,
We don't do it.
no.
But anyway, uh, you quit teaching how long ago?
Right, almost a year ago. Yeah.
Can you be honest with me and tell me why you walked away?
Well, again, and like I said, I think teachers are the scapegoats. Teachers have a lot of pressures
They do.
placed on
I love
them
them.
that shouldn't be placed on them. But again, the two issues I had were the people that are in the administration that run the schools and enact the educational policies, and then the education model that we have. So it's a education model, but it doesn't do any education. It's just a system of checking the boxes, and we'll see you next year.
And that's validated. I've got to say that I went to a career day. We're talking about put tools in schools. Why? Because these kids aren't happy. They're really not happy. And they're all chasing money, just like everybody on the planet right now. You chase money because it takes money to live, especially in the big city. You can survive in rural areas of America without nearly as much money as you can in the city.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes more money because of, well, you got to go to the store for every meal. But in the country, you can grow it. You can shoot it.
Yeah.
You can, I bet you shot a deer or two in your life, haven't you?
Yeah, right behind my house.
That's what I'm saying.
Fish right behind my house. Got turkeys, got rabbits.
So no problem eating.
No.
That's well, but that's not the case.
Unlimited water supply.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's country. But you can't do that in the city. So we're talking primarily today about our education system within the city because it differs. Your Title I school is where you taught.
That's correct.
Now, what is a Title I school?
So that's where you have a certain population percentage, if you will, of your students that are at a certain economic level to where they can qualify for free or reduced lunch.
Right.
And that's how that's determined. And if you meet that threshold, you're a Title I school, and you get more state and federal resources.
Funding.
Yeah, funding.
Right. That everybody's worried about going away.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on that?
I don't necessarily know that the funding is going to go away if you get rid of the Federal Department of Education. The money is still going to be out there. I mean, it's not like we're taking this money and it's never going to be available again. However, it's going to be left I think it should be left at the state level and used on the state level rather than sending it up to Washington, D.C. to grease the wheels, if you will. That's a lot of grease.
Yeah. And the more they dig, the more the grease they find.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, I knew there was a fox in the hen house somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very evident to me and still is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, and that's part of the issue too. Where does the money go?
Right.
It's not going to the teachers. It's not going to the students.
That's not in the classroom.
Nope, not in the classroom. Now they'll build another building or 4 or 5, and that's nothing but real estate asset.
Mm-hmm.
Right or wrong?
Of course, that's right. Yeah.
But it's empty.
Yeah.
But yet there's that money. And what about that education lottery?
Yeah.
Where's that money? Where does it go?
I'll tell you.
See, I'm worried. I see all this money, but I don't see our kids benefiting.
Right. It's going to build all these community college campuses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we need more bigger buildings and prettier buildings
Right. Yeah. And the college debt's how many trillion now?
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but we're using that money to build buildings rather than solidify educations.
Exactly. Real estate.
Right.
That's where the money goes. It's a bottom line asset.
Right.
You're really not giving it to education.
Right.
They're putting it on a sheet of paper, on their spreadsheet.
And let me say this, I really love these corporations and businesses that donate to our community colleges. And that's very, very important. The business and industry support is extremely important. But the amount of money that we spend building all these buildings and expanding this, a lot of these contributions from business and industry is just a drop in the bucket to the amount of money we spent making all these nice, big, old, pretty buildings that make us look good.
Exactly. Well, from my vantage point, here's what, that I see. And, I'm not trying to get you to believe anything, just to understand the reality of what our kids are doing or not doing. I've gone to 35 schools, and this is not about me. It's about an initiative to raise awareness of career pathways that are virtually unknown by our students in school because we don't teach it. And I'll attest to that and give you facts to validate it right after the break, because I've been to several career days lately, and I've made a point of going to these to talk to the students, because you can't talk to the students typically. Can't get to them.
That's correct.
Can't get to them. And we'll talk about that too, because they say they want speakers, they want professionals in classrooms. But there's a twofold problem there, and we're going to talk about it. And I know this because I'm out there. Not as much as I should be, but I'm working on that too. So, because these kids need us. They need us bad. And when I say us, I'll tell you all about that. Come on back. You're listening to About Your House on Fox Sports Charlotte. Download the free app and stream us live anywhere. Or go online, aboutyourshouseradio.com. There's a little stream button there. New website coming up in a couple weeks. And YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Fox Sports Radio. I can't get it right this morning. FoxSportsRadioCharlotte.com. There you go. You can stream us live there as well. So come back. David Richardson in the house. We're talking about our kids, our future, their future. Ours is kind of set. We'll come back. We'll talk about it.
Find out more about the show? Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Libretto's Pizzeria was established in 2004 in New York City. It's located in Charlotte on John J. Delaney Drive in the Ballantyne area. Serving up authentic New York pizzas and a full Italian menu. Come in casual, hang out, and relax. We offer dine-in, takeout. You can order delivery. We could also cater your special event. Libretto's has got you covered. I am Mike Libretto. We are also the home of Spinello's famous infused take and bake pizzas. Visit us online at librettospizzeria.com and spinellospizza.com or call us at 704-714-1442.
Whether you're building new or remodeling old, let ABS Insulating make it comfortable. ABS Insulating knows the business of comfort. Using the latest products and technology, ABS offers an array of solutions. Using fiberglass and spray foam, and all installed by certified technicians. ABS Insulating has been saving energy dollars with great customer service for over 30 years. They're a leader in the industry. Call them today, 704-821-4343 or absinsulating.com.
Carolina Foundation Solutions is a family-owned and operated company and a licensed general contractor in North and South Carolina, providing foundation solutions from the mountains to the sandy shores of the coast. At Carolina Foundation Solutions, our objective is to help educate, offer guidance, and provide assistance. With over 200 years of combined experience, our family of experts are ready to help protect and repair your largest investments. If you have a problem, we have a solution. Call 877-883-4626 or online, carolinafoundationsolutions.com.
Owens Chimney Systems is known for all professional chimney services since 1989, including chimney cleaning, recommended annually, chimney evaluations and inspections, any and all chimney repairs and restorations, gas fireplace and gas fire log service, furnace cleaning, cleaning out one of the most overlooked appliances in the home. Get it done right the first time. That's Owens Chimney Systems at 704-554-9595, or you can visit us online at owenschimneysystems.com.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Guess who? Uncle Red is on the phone, wants to talk a little bit or a lot. I don't know which. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Just a little bit. Thank you very much.
We know better.
No, I got to throw this in there because it's right about what you're talking about. Back a long time ago, and most people that are in Charlotte, new people, have no concept. A lady named Bonnie E. Cone started collecting books back in, I guess, in the 50s to build a library. And the reason she was doing it is because she was so smart. She realized you could never have an accredited university in a town unless it had a massive library. Now, a woman did this. I never met the lady.
I did.
But she put it all together. She begged for the land from the Alexander brothers out there.
Newell.
She got the land to put it on out there off of 49.
It was Newell it was called the Newell community at that time.
Well, yeah, Newell was adjacent to it.
Well, right beside it. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a P.O. box out there one time.
And then they built College Downs, and Bonnie moved there.
Yeah, but she was the reason they never let her become chancellor. She got to second in command, but they never let her be the chancellor because she was a woman. But now back to my point. I worked out there 2 or 3 times over the years. I worked out there when there wasn't but 2 buildings. I mean, so go figure that. But anyway, when we built the Bonnie E. Cone building and we did the HVAC in it, it was the most biggest mechanical nightmare that I'd ever seen, between ductwork and piping and all for the heating and cooling and all. And I asked the guys that was in charge of it. We were just doing the mechanical. And this was, I can tell you when it was in 73. I can remember the date. And I said, why is this building? Now, it had some really nice auditorium stuff in it where you can speak, and the steel work was phenomenal and all to put it together. And it hits on exactly what you gentlemen were talking about a minute ago. And I said, why is there so much dead space in this building? I said, it was a nightmare to pipe it. And the duct people, it was a nightmare to put the air in it and all. And he said, if you want to know the truth, and now I'm not going to lie because my memory's not that good. There's either, there's either 33% of that structure then, now that's not in 73, 33% of it was usable, or 33% of it wasn't usable, but either way, it's a third. Why would you throw that much money away back then, as hard as money was to appropriate to do stuff, and not make it usable space? I never could figure it out. And the man that was doing it told me, he said, I don't argue with it. The architect, that's what they wanted, and that's what they got. So when they started out, it was at least a third in the hole, and it may have been 2/3 in the hole because the building's still there. So it's a tough deal. So what you're talking about is exactly right. And back on the last thing, I did a job. I was over it as a project manager when they built an Aldi distribution center in East Spencer. That's been a long time ago. It's about 2000. And Bovis Lend-Lease, which used to be McDivitt Street, Bovis Lend-Lease bought them out. McDivitt Street was one of the biggest contractors in the state at the time. And Bovis Lend-Lease was running that job over at Aldi. And the project manager for that job had a rule, because cell phones had come along then, even in 2000. And if you had a cell phone and it beeped or rang when you were in a meeting that we had every Thursday morning, he took it. And when he told everybody before he started doing it, and I mean, there'd be 30 or 35 people in a meeting. He said, if I hear a phone, I take it, and you do not get it back till this job is over with. And believe it or not, 4 or 5 of those knucklehead people that were contractors out there I'd leave mine in the truck.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to think about it.
Right.
But he had a box full of phones that he had taken from people that were so stupid they would bring them in there, and it would ring or beep or something, and he'd say, "Give me that phone." And I mean, and it went on like that. And this was one of the biggest contractors going at the time, Bovis Lend-Lease.
Well, they're very disruptive in today's world. I was in a meeting yesterday.
The man would not tolerate it. The man would not tolerate it. He had somebody had rubbed him the wrong way a long time before that, and he just said up front, "I'm telling you what I won't tolerate. It's the phones." And that, God, Lord, thank Ray. That's been 25 years.
I know. Yeah, right. Well, it's been a problem for that long too.
Yeah, and he wanted control of that meeting. He wanted people listening, because you're tying up a lot of very important people. I don't know how important I was, but I was in charge of the refrigeration for the whole darn thing. But, I'm making a point. He was smart enough to do that. And I thought he was just taking them for the meeting. He just kept their phone. He said, "You want another phone? Go get you another one. But you're not getting this one back till the job's done." I can't remember his
true
name.
to his word.
Amen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But anyway, I'm going to keep listening. Y'all keep going. I hate it, but the Bonnie E. Cone thing really used to just gripe me, because
it's all about real estate.
That lady worked so hard to put that thing together, and it would not exist had she not been smart enough to start putting that library together, because she did her homework and she knew what it had to have. So when they did get a place, then they got a library, and because they had a library, they could become an accredited university.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for that bit of history, sir. And I will tell you about Bonnie Cone. And I met her because she had her car serviced where I started learning mechanics out there at Newell Gulf. And
really?
Baxter Caldwell would go pick her car up on a Saturday morning, Miss Bonnie Cone's car, bring it back. We would service it, wash it, and take care of it. And she'd come in, somebody'd bring her in that afternoon, pick her car up. And I've met her several times, and sweet lady. And yes, she's done wonders for the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Actually, it was University of Charlotte.
Well, she's the reason it's there. She's the reason it's there.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody kind of wanted one. She just was the driving force behind it. But she never, I don't think, ever got the credit that was due. You know what I mean? Because she's the one reason it happened. I mean, she put it all together.
All right, big guy.
Visionary. A visionary.
Yeah. A lot of them in Charlotte. All right, man. Okay. Thanks for
I'll
calling.
See you later.
All right, take care.
Yeah, y'all have a good show.
You betcha. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I was in a meeting yesterday talking about cell phone interruptions. There needs to be, we've just become so addicted to these damn things.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. But we really have. And I've even said we're robots. This thing we've become robots to our cell phones.
Right.
And we have.
Yeah.
But the thing is, then I'll let the disruptions go. It's very disruptive to teachers to have cell phones available. And we all, and I know parents, and here I go talking about on behalf of parents, you want it because what if there's an emergency? That becomes an emergency. The phones create havoc, creates disruption, creates distraction, all a negative when it comes to focus in the educational process,
Right.
Am I right or wrong?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Then why are we allowing it? Why? There's enough issues with our education system that now, but I know why. Because school classrooms absolutely suck.
Yeah.
They're not, because the teacher has to get the data,
Right.
right?
Well, and a lot of the content today in our schools is irrelevant. It's not relevant to the student. They're going to act out because they're disenfranchised. However, if I let them have that cell phone, then that'll draw their attention away from the irrelevant content, and that electronic babysitter allows me just to get through the day.
Right. I went to a career day that last week, 2 of them, Tuesday and Wednesday. I went to at the same school, Northwest School of the Arts. Wow, what a great school. And man, the kids, and when I say it's a great school, I'm relating that comment to the kids and students that I got to see and talk to. Wow, what a great school. And, but there again, cell phones were very prevalent. They were amongst the kids, and you see them. And in some respects, cell phones can be a benefit, like QR codes for resource work
Right.
and various things. But there again, there still has to be disciplines around it, I would think.
Right.
But anyway, the kids came, and here's the downside of the career day. The career day had 26 tables, presenters, corporate, whatever. And out of the 26, the vast majority of those 26 were education institutions, college, beyond high school, and military, and corporate America. And there's a few others, summer camps, lifeguards, which are all beneficial, tremendous benefits to having that. But there's only one table there representing the trades, and it was me, and put tools in schools.
Right.
Now, we sent out, I think, close to 300 emails, and we had nobody show up. What's the most valued commodity we all share? Most valued?
It's people.
It's time. It's
Okay.
our time.
Well, it's time. Yeah.
It's our time.
Okay. As a personal level, it's time.
It is time.
Yeah.
It's the most valued commodity we all have. When you go to work, you get paid by the hour, or you have a salary on paid structure on time, right?
Yeah.
Everything's about you get paid. Money, money, money. And I understand that. But, I got a call yesterday from a company that wants to know what they can do. And most people figure on writing a check's the answer, because it's all about money.
Right.
I need money. Yeah. Put tools in schools. Yes, we do. And if you got a few extra dollars sitting around, go to puttoolsinschools.org and pay. There's a PayPal donation there, and it works. And people have really used it, and I'm so, so grateful for it. But I'm not, more than anything, and here's the problem with these career days. If industry does not show up and engage these kids, nothing's going to change.
Right. And that's kind of what you said, ask the question rather, what's the most important resource? Now, for a business, time's very important, but we can automate to get time, to save time. But the most important resource when it comes to business is our people. So our contractors, especially in the trades, so I need more tools. I need another crew. But the one thing that especially our trades businesses do not put time into, if you will, is to go out there and find this talent pool, develop this talent pool. And just as what you said, here's the opportunity to be in front of these 3, 4, 5, whatever 100 kids, and nobody from the trades shows up. Now,
There was 1,000 kids that came through there in 2 days.
Right. So, and again, I understand when you're pulling somebody off a job,
right,
to send them out there to do this. However, that's just important as having the estimator sitting there going, well, it's going to take me so many days to do this particular job because I only have 3 people. What if I had 5 people? Would that job be done quicker?
Exactly.
Yeah, it would.
And where are you going to get the people if you don't invest the time?
Right.
It's an investment.
Right.
It's a major investment to the future, not only your company, but the
Yeah.
future of our country.
Right. So that construction estimator,
Yeah.
and then the project manager, just had one call in, construction project manager. He's calling around. He's looking for this. How many times, and I think you talked about it a while ago, that you have to hold a project up because you can't find somebody to start what you need started tomorrow when you need it to start. You call them up, I'm 3 weeks out. Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to do it yourself? You're going to have to wait for them to come in 3 weeks. Okay. But guess what? If we would have went out and got those people into the trades, and then you had more people, I don't know, is it you can't get a plumber? Can you not get an electrician? Can you not get somebody in to do HVAC? Maybe you can't get somebody to come in and excavate or do your rebar. Okay. Because there's not enough of them. Well,
The shelves are empty. The inventory is dry.
Okay. So, and that's because.
And they say, and you hear, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And that's because we don't go out and we don't recruit. We don't show these folks what's going on. And so really you're cutting your nose off to spite your face when you say, well, I don't have enough. I don't have anybody to pull off this job and send them out here.
I've heard it and heard it and heard it. And I'm sick and it's my problem. I mean, I try to get over it, but I can't.
Well, you can't get over it.
Because every day I hear, but I'm so busy. You're no different from anybody else. It's called priorities.
Right.
And, and I understand. This really bugs me. What you're telling me is money trumps commitment.
That's
I've
true.
noticed that.
That's true.
Where money is trumping commitment. No, you make a commitment. It's a commitment.
Well, how many times have you heard this? It's going to be what, 84 next week?
86, yeah.
What day?
Next week.
What day?
Let me pull it up here.
Is it Tuesday, Wednesday?
It's in the week here. Hold on a second.
Okay. So it's going to be 86.
86, 88 next Saturday is what the forecast is. 86 Friday, 84 on Thursday.
All right, well, here's the deal. Listen to. So it's going to be 86 Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Friday morning, I get up and my air conditioning's out.
Yeah.
I want it fixed that day.
Mm-hmm.
So I call up one of the local Charlotte HVAC guys. Do you think they have any openings at 8 o'clock in the morning? Oh, hell no. They're booked out how weeks, maybe months.
Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have somebody on call. But here's what I say. The guy says, I can't come because I'm coming to Ray Terry's house to fix his air conditioner. I said, well, if you show up right now, I'll give you $500 on top of your fee. Where are you going?
You're going after the money.
You're going after the money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call Ray Terry up and say, hey, Ray Terry, damn, my truck won't start or got a flat tire. Yeah. All my tools have turned into fairy dust or something like that. And I just can't come out and get to you today.
Right.
And then I go over here and pick up this $500 cash plus my service fee and plus all the other work.
Right.
Because this person don't care if I charge them $100 or $5,000. The commitment.
But there again, where has our commitment, the value gone?
Where's the commitment? Yeah.
The value of saying you're going to be somewhere and then at the last, well, I'm sorry, I had to shift. If I don't know what to say.
But back to commitment
really
and back to especially the trades people showing up at your career days. And when I did it for years. So I know putting on career days, I would call 55 people and I'd have 25 show up.
Oh yeah, you've got experience in it.
Yeah, I've done it. Oh, I've done it. And so I would call 55 to 60 and I'd get 25 to show up. And so I know it. But again, companies have to understand these young folks sitting in our school, that's a natural resource. So if you need lumber, if you need gravel for asphalt or concrete or found whatever you need, that's a resource. Well, so are students. They're a resource.
They really are.
And you've got to develop that resource.
Yep.
And right now we're not doing that.
I ask kids questions, all of them. All of them I ask questions to, and we talk.
Yeah.
Most of these kids don't even know what an apprenticeship is.
Right.
And I got a table with tools on one all over the table.
Yeah.
And they're yellow.
Right.
Some of them. They're 20-volt yellow tools.
Yeah. That's the product, the people that make them.
But that, DeWalt makes them.
That's right.
We all know that.
Yeah.
Good tools. Just those tools visually attract kids.
Yeah.
But at Northwest School of the Arts, I had more measuring tape readers than any other school I'd ever been to.
Okay, cool.
Why? Because they've got a tech department.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of parents at that school that are in construction.
Mm-hmm. Right.
One little old 7th grader female walked up and she looked down at the table. She started naming the tools.
Oh, yeah.
She was incredible. And I says, girl, can you read a tape measure? She said, sure, I can read a tape measure.
Yeah.
You know, and I says, well, let me see. And I pulled it up there. It was 2 3/4. And she said 2 3/4.
Yeah.
Right off the top.
Yeah.
I said, good gosh.
Well, my 18-month-old grandson, he's 9 now, but my wife picked up a wrench or a set of pliers rather that says, here's your wrench. He says, no, Grandma, it's pliers. He's 18 months.
Right.
He was using a drill when he was 24 months, 2 years old.
Like my grandson.
Yeah.
I saw my grandson last Sunday. I get it.
Yeah. As soon as they can start figuring it out, let them start figuring it out.
Yeah. Give them something to figure out. Give them more things. My grandson, I hadn't seen him in 11 months till last Sunday. He's my grandson. He is my grandson. He's a man. He never stops. He's looking at everything along the way and pointing things out along the way.
Oh, yeah.
There was a table saw and big power miter box. He was all over it trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
He's amazing. 3 years old. You know, we're all born creators. We're all born geniuses. God did that for us. And then you go to school and they take it away.
That's what we need to talk about next. You know who's the most uncreative group of people on earth?
Who?
Educators.
Bingo. We'll be back to talk about it. Join us right here on About Your House. Give us a call if you got any comments, 704-227-8986. And we will talk when we get back.
Find out more about the show? Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
There's big news in the Carolinas. Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances is now Queen City Home Store. For over 70 years, we've been your trusted retailer for appliances, electronics, and more. Now, we're taking it to the next level with a new name, a fresh look, and more ways to serve you, offering the same outstanding service you've always counted on, while bringing you everything you need for your home. Queen City Home Store. Same great service, more possibilities. Visit us at queencityonline.com.
John DeLand here for Crowntown Cannabis. We at Crowntown Cannabis care about you and your health. All of our products, from edibles to topical creams, are all third-party tested for purity and quality. 4 locations, open 7 days a week to help you with any concerns you may have. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can call us at 704-412-7121 or online at crowntowncannabis.com.
Let's face it, we do not like bugs and especially spiders and ants.
pets. Unwanted pests in the home are not only creepy, they can also spread sickness and cause significant damage to the structural integrity of our homes. Kilo Exterminating has been taking care of pest control problems in the Charlotte area for over 70 years with award-winning customer service. Moisture readings are standard with all crawl space inspection. Call Kilo Exterminating at the first sign of infestation, 704-333-9855, or online at kilo.biz. Again, that's 704-333-9855.
Hi, I'm Sam Otero of AteroMedia.com. Someone asked me once what I love the most about my 30-year-long career as a media producer and educator, and I have to say the fact that not only do I get to create for a living every day, but then I get to teach and help others to use the content and gear systems that I've built for them themselves. Do you need professional live event video production or streaming services? You're in great hands with our family business. All 5-star Google reviews. That's ETTARO media.com.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
Are you fired up?
All righty, let's talk.
Ray, are you fired up?
No, I'm not fired
Okay.
up. Another normal day at the ranch.
I have a way of doing that for you.
It was, are you mad? No, I'm a passionate guy. I'm intense, and it gets me in trouble. It does. People don't, think I'm mad or mean or upset. Your blood pressure. My blood pressure's great, but does it frustrate me? Yeah, it does. Because, see, I'm a problem solver, and it's a simple solution. And it really is simple. And that's what drives me nuts. We're talking about before the break, we're born creators. And that's what I try to tap into with everybody I address on these issues of put tools in schools. Because when I go out in crowds of, not crowds, but groups of people with other nonprofits, I might have 6 to 10 male mentors in the group helping the kids. They're just as captive as the students, as the kids, because we've lost 3 generations.
Yeah.
Where are the men? Where have the men gone? We've got a bunch of males.
Well, the problem with a man versus a male is men are typically more difficult to control than males.
You're exactly right.
That's our problem. You can't control a man, but you can control a male.
Right. And all this has been done deliberately.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, strategically.
And you like simple stuff, but here's the deal though. Governments don't like simple stuff.
They want to make it difficult.
They want levels of complexity so that they can hide.
And depend on, they enforce codependency.
Right.
They teach codependency.
Well, that goes back to no education.
Exactly. And, how are we going to change it? We can sit here and beat it till we can't beat. There ain't nothing else to beat. But the problem still exists. What are we going to do about it? See, like I said, I'm a problem solver. There's a big problem. What we going to do? Well, we talked about it earlier. If industry, let me put it another way. That table drew kids over to it because it was different. It had things on it they're not accustomed to seeing. They're curious. Kids are very curious by nature, right?
Right. That's part of that creative spirit.
Exactly. They're creative. And, the females, they're amazing. They love tools.
Yeah.
They absolutely love tools.
Well, when I
Not
was
that males don't, but when the females tend to be more interested.
Well, when I taught construction in middle school for a number of years, it was my females that did the most learning. And so, and being out in the farm area, obviously the farm boys had some experience with mechanical and hands-on stuff. And
typically, yes.
yeah, and
very
the
much so.
females
And
didn't necessarily, but those were a lot of times my most eager to learn. And at the end of the semester, they were at the level or maybe a little bit above the level of the boys because they took it that much more serious, and they really applied themselves. So when I did electrical or I did plumbing or I did framing and stuff like that, I could always count on those females to really jump in there. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I'd have some females says, I'm not interested in this at all. And I'm like, hey, that's great. Don't, not to take another construction class next time. I'm not going to put you down, but go ahead and drive some nails and cut some lumber, and we'll get you through the semester. And as long as you participate, you're going to be fine. But I don't expect you to this to be your click.
right.
But 80% of the time it was the click.
Isn't it amazing when you see it too?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're naturally drawn to creativity.
And that's what a true teacher wants. We want to see that click. We want to see that
light go off.
aha.
Yeah,
the
light.
aha.
Oh, the light just went up.
Yeah, aha. That's what
Yeah.
that's how now, and I'll say this again, and I'm not putting teachers down. Now, when you turn into an educator, that's when I start putting you down. But nonetheless, I digress. But anyway, teachers, those are people that got that aha moment in school, and they want other people to get that aha moment because they know how that basically changed their lives. And so that's why teach people that want to be teachers, they go into the profession to be a teacher. And
for all the right reasons.
For all the right reasons. However, when they start going into school, they understand, they start to figure out and to realize that the art of teaching is dead. The aha moments ain't coming anymore, because now, rather than being a teacher, you deliver content
that you're told to deliver.
The state wants you to deliver this content, and your passion might be in, and there's a little bit of time to delve into that, but not a lot. And what really keeps you as a teacher on course is that at the end of the year, the students really aren't graded on their test scores as much as the teachers are graded on the students' test scores. And to be a highly qualified teacher.
So really, who is being tested here?
Yeah, the teacher.
Exactly.
Right. And to be a highly qualified teacher and to get the good pay, you got to have good test scores. Okay. And also, so it's not in content delivery. Yeah, there's some stuff on there, but there's some things that's not on there too.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah. So a lot of your civics, a lot of American history that we don't want people to know.
Exactly.
We don't teach it.
Censoring.
Right. Because
basically.
And that's why you go and you find out people don't know what's a Congress, the Senate, Washington, D.C. What's all that about? A state legislature? What's a state legislature? Those are just a bunch of fools. I don't care about them. Let me get my cell phone out.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And now we got AI. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What's going to happen?
Well, now
it's like we're not dumbed down enough.
Well, but here, let me tell you what's happening in AI and education. I've really been keeping up with this the last several months. We're starting to see some people and this is really suppressed because the education culture doesn't want that out there. But what we're starting to see are some schools that are spending 2 hours a day to educate kids, and they're having phenomenal success because AI is able to truly assess the individual needs of these kids and to put forth a independent, dedicated learning environment that meets the needs of these kids. So, for instance, as I've said before, I'm dyslexic. And so AI can not only capture this and figure it out, but AI can also put forth reading assignments that takes that learning disability into context, and they're seeing phenomenal results because of AI. Because AI can be a tool.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No question
So,
about it. As a matter of fact, it's mind-blowing as a tool.
Yep. So we're seeing a lot of improvement now, and that if we go into that, then obviously it's going to really decimate the education industry.
I concur with you.
It's going to
100%.
decimate the education industry because now where they forced everybody into this single education model of sit down, shut up, take lecture notes that bores you to damn death, and then regurgitate all that data on a test at the end of the year. And that model has failed probably, well, it's failed 66 to 70% of our kids across the nation. But this AI is able to overcome that.
But the bottom line is, and I'm going to ask you, we're talking about kids aren't aware of the trades, construction pathways in the trade or tools, be it automotive, be it diesel mechanic, be it CDL drivers,
Cosmetology.
If you Skills USA, if you've never
heard of them,
you've been to Skills.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, see, in CMS, I bet and I don't know exactly, but that competition is just next month, April, up in Greensboro.
Right.
And Skills USA is phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Why aren't we having kids go into that out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Charlotte, Mecklenburg?
Right.
We've got 140,000 students. I wonder how many of that 140,000 students are going and even know about it.
Well, but you got to understand, uncreative people don't understand this. And again, the most uncreative people in the world are educators. I didn't say teachers. There's a difference between an educator and a teacher.
Will you explain when we get back out of the break? Are we top of the hour here? Well, Michael Realon maybe will call. Hopefully he will. I'd love to hear from him. There he is. Speak of Michael. And I want to get his 2 cents worth on where he's at with it, because he's a great man, done a lot for the kids out in the western part of Charlotte, Mecklenburg. So we're going to take a top of the hour break here. When we come back, Michael Realon's on the phone. We're going to get his take on it. He's a great educator, great man, done a lot for some students, changed some lives. Let's talk to him. Come on back. You're listening to About Your House. We'll be back with hour number 2.
Project manager now, but he's 30.
Hour 2, David Richardson, retired teacher and process engineer at IFAB Corp, continues his discussion with Ray about the education system and what needs to change. About Your House is brought to you in part by Queen City Home Store, formerly known as Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliance. Same great store. It's family owned, serving the Carolinas for over 70 years. They're the largest independent appliance retailer in the Carolinas, constantly growing and taking pride in the experience they offer customers with a knowledgeable sales staff, product selection, and lowest price guarantee. About Your House is also brought to you in part by PutToolsInSchools.org, connecting students to tools of the trades and raising awareness of the many career pathways. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some time with us. And now, here's your host, Ray Terry.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2, About Your House. Got David Richardson in the house talking, well, schools, education, put tools in schools. What can we do to change this educational model? And I have on the phone Michael Realon. Michael Realon, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Ray. How are you?
I am great. I hope you're doing well, sir.
Hanging in there. I'm hanging in there, boss.
There you go. Great to hear from you. It's been a while since we talked. I just wanted to reach out to you this morning and get your. I read one of your posts on LinkedIn yesterday about the apprenticeships, and I just wanted you to call in and give me your take and your opinion on the landscape of how things are changing, the good stuff, because I know you've been involved with it. So
okay, I'll try to do as best I can.
Well, you do. You always do. And do great
Sounds
with
good.
it. All right, let her rip,
Yeah.
big guy.
Now?
Yes, sir. Tell me what you
Okay.
see on the horizon.
Well, what you saw at that post, and I think what you're seeing that's really exciting is the role the city of Charlotte is playing. And you're seeing the leadership role that they've been taking and moving forward, since the economic mobility study happened in Charlotte, about a decade ago. So very intentionally, purposefully moving into this component with regards to developing apprenticeship programs, a workforce development program, and you see how it's taking shape in the city of Charlotte with the fire department, the airport, the Department of Transportation, water, solid waste, the transit department. They're moving through. And then I think you saw that post yesterday as they're seeing the role that they can play in other cities by what they've learned over the years about apprenticeships and great things, that have been going on in the city of Charlotte already with some of our great programs that deal with Apprenticeship 2000. Theme is Apprenticeship Charlotte with all the German advanced manufacturing companies that have served as kind of a national exemplar since 2010 with what they've been doing. And the city of Charlotte, went about and studying that and talking to the employers, talking to the other stakeholders that are involved with that, and are excited about what they've been doing in moving towards and providing these pathways for young people and teens to onboard pathways to get the kind of education, training, and skills to lead to pathways of sustainable wage jobs. And then, so you see what the city of Charlotte's doing, but, everything else going on out there too with, what The Rock has been doing out there, people like Builders Bridge, individual companies with their kinds of trade programs that they're doing with apprenticeships. And then what you saw moving forward locally with North Carolina getting the Steps for Growth $24 million clean energy. And I think, within that program, I think they've had 800 job placements and over 1,600 trained participants with what they've been doing in the state of North Carolina for the last 3 years.
That's awesome.
So, when you see, I think, and you've been here too with me, but when we think of where and how we started in 2010 and the rocky road that was, because, you're telling kids, it's okay. I know, I know you heard ever since you could listen and hear, you all have to go to college and do this. And that's a viable path depending upon what you want to do. But it is not relevant for everybody. And that's how when you see the Wall Street Journal this year, maybe about a couple months ago, published an article saying the new millionaire class of America are trades because of the high demand, the wages that can be earned, and the low supply.
Yep, I remember it well. And but there again, some of the kids out in the system don't even know what the word apprenticeship means in some respects. And I'm not playing down like there's a lot of initiatives going on. To your point, there's a lot.
But to me, I can say that is a different initiative, right?
That's
okay.
Yep.
And there's a new group. There's 10,000, new kids coming in all the time. And then what are the adults telling them, Ray?
I know.
Right? I mean, I mean, think of Galileo. I'm Catholic, and, it wasn't until recently that the Catholic Church accepted Galileo's findings. When you look at some of the formal documents, right? So the adults are still telling kids, the other kinds of stuff.
I know.
So this is a societal type of issue.
It's status
to
quo.
kind of help them.
Yeah, it's been status quo, and we need to change it.
Well, the new millionaire class are trades. I don't know
I agree.
what motivation that, some adults might be providing kids. Primarily, I want kids hopefully to be happy with what they're doing in their jobs. And I want them to realize prosperity at home. And what we've been telling kids for 50 years, if you look at actual data, if you're interested actually in data, what we've been telling them has served them well. We have 50 consecutive years of middle class shrinkage. Only 27% of Americans who go to college ever get a job related to their college degree, right?
Yeah.
And so when you look at this is a very complicated decision. And, the employers of anybody want kids to get the right kind of education, training, and skills.
Yes, sir.
Right? And that's why there are kids at high schools now, right? They're doing apprenticeship programs. And companies, the most technologically advanced companies in the world, as a teenager, has contractually obligated themselves to $200,000 to invest in them, right? With their education, training, and skills. And these kids earn a ticket to start their lives as a teenager in the middle class as an apprentice. I don't know if that kind of job is going to make them happy, but they probably should look at it just to see if possibly it does. And it's free education.
What is a fact about all this is once they tap into their creativity, which the trades are all about, it just opens up a whole new world to them because we're not teaching them that, as you well know.
Yeah.
They've taken all that away. And if we don't engage those kids, what if we don't tickle their fancy, tickle that creativity in them, they don't know otherwise.
That's how they become engaged.
Exactly.
You want to know how they become engaged in classrooms, right? We have to spark their curiosity and interest. somehow, some way. And otherwise, remember Charlie Brown? Cartoon, blah, 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 blah. Right. Otherwise, they're hearing that.
Right, exactly.
You with me?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you talk to the kids at these career days. If we don't engage them, they won't know. They don't know, but they'll sure hear about all those educational institutions.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Not that that's necessarily a terrible or bad thing, but we've got to show them both sides of the fence, and we're not doing a good job. You've done super, Michael. I commend you, and you know that. And we need more teachers. And to me, you're not what we call, is he an educator or a teacher?
He'll be a teacher.
And I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate all you've done, Michael, and thanks for calling in this morning with your information, because I know you're in it to win it. And you've been just tremendously dedicated to it. And I'm grateful you've been out there.
Yeah. Just, I think we're all trying to help kids find a pathway and hopefully spark their curiosity and interest of school, and engaging and showing them pathways of education and careers that can help them reach their human and economic potential.
You got it. Well, thanks for calling today. I appreciate it. And I wish you nothing but the best, man. Let's stay in touch a little more. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ray.
Have a great weekend, man. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
You too. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. He kind of said what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
No
I like
doubt.
that.
And but if we don't, back to the culprit here, and industry is stepping up. There are a lot of initiatives, and
Right.
all of it's commendable, but it's not enough.
Right.
It's not enough. We collectively, the industry, need to come together. Now, how do we come together as an industry? That's a quagmire.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I do an outreach, who do I reach to? The industry? How can I reach the industry? Well, all the associations like ABC, AGC.
There's IEC here.
IEC, Home Builders Association, NARI, all those associations.
Right.
Well, I know the AGC's got close to 2,000 members north and South Carolina.
Right.
Well, why won't they spread the word? If somebody can take the bull by the horns, and that's what our mission is at Put Tools in Schools, to be a facilitator.
Right.
Or I don't care who does it. I don't care that we do it.
Right.
I don't care who does it.
Right.
Let's just get it done.
Yeah.
To where we have a relationship with CMS and whoever and whatever that might be. But if you step on their toes and talk too loud,
hurts their feelings.
They don't like that. Or when they're going to grow up and face the fact. And see, that statement right there has already got some people upset.
Well, again,
he's got a big mouth.
Well, yeah,
I do.
Yeah, but you're expecting them to appreciate the creativity part of life, and they don't understand the creativity. They're
on the data,
right?
On the data train,
right.
Down in that road only goes one way,
right? Yeah.
And it's been proven. Well, however, all right, we got trade career days. We got career days. You can go to puttoolsinschools.org and just go to the events calendar. Now, there isn't a lot on there, but there's a few. Queens Grant coming up. We're going to Anson County. Mint Hill Middle School reached out to us. Middle school. Best schools to get into is middle schools.
Mm-hmm.
But if we get into middle schools, we got to follow it up with all the high schools around it.
Right.
You got to stay with it. You got to keep that momentum going. And we can't do it. Think of all the electrical, HVAC, plumbing, builders, commercial builders, all the infrastructures or building contractors it takes to build a building, concrete pumpers, concrete finishers, drywall, painting. And painters, for example, how many kids are exposed to painting? Like rooms, commercial?
Nobody.
Very few.
Yeah.
How do we know? And this was proven to me because I had a painter come April 4th, about 4 years ago, to a Saturday event. Thank you, Sal. And he tickled the fancy of several teenagers that came that had never held a caulking gun in their hand, who never held a paintbrush.
Right.
Why can't we just expose kids to that? You make a good living painting.
Yeah.
Great living, and you can work for yourself, be
That's it.
self-employed.
Right.
We can be that buzzword all students know now. I can be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I even got to use that the other night.
Yeah.
I said, I must be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. But that falls outside of our little path of the single education model and no creativity.
Yep. But you know, the only time you're happy, think about it. Think about it. I'm not going to give you the answer, but you think about, when are you your happiest as a human being? I know when I'm my happiest, when I'm loving something, seriously, and when I'm creating something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm my happiest.
Yeah.
And I want to be the best I can be at it. And I'm no different from anybody else.
Right.
I'm just another one of them human beings.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And I don't care if you're male or female.
Yeah.
It's the way God made us.
Something we hadn't touched on, I don't think really delved into.
Well, let's do it when we come back.
Come back. Homeschooling.
Big time.
So when we come back, I've been getting some data from that too.
Awesome. Let's talk about homeschooling's absolutely phenomenal. I made a vow to my son. My grandson will not go to public schools. Will not. Not if I'm alive. Because I'll teach him.
Amen.
I'm serious, because I want my grandson to be open-minded and creative and be able to do whatever he wants to do with knowledge and intelligence God gave him.
Right.
Let's work on it. We'll be back. More about your house. Let's talk about it.
About the show, go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Mike Libretto here, owner of Libretto's Pizzeria and Spinello's Pizza. I opened my first pizzeria in New York City in 2004. Not long after that, I took my passion to Charlotte, North Carolina, serving up a taste of New York City with great pizzas and authentic Italian cuisine. Come in, relax, and enjoy Libretto's Pizzeria, located off Johnson Road in the Ballantyne area. Libretto's is also home of the famous Spinello's Pizza, a 10-inch infused frozen pizza, offered in both pepperoni and plain cheese. Visit SpinellosPizza.com for more information, to find a retailer near you, or just to order for pickup at the restaurant. Libretto's Pizzeria is open 7 days a week, a great place to relax, dine in, take out, delivery, or for catering. Visit us online at Libretto'sPizzeria.com. Call us at 704-714-1442 for the best in New York pizza and Italian cuisine. That's Libretto's Pizzeria. Stop in and become part of the family.
Go outside and take a look at your home. Are the gutters doing their job? The number one enemy to your home is water. Most homes are built with small, inadequate gutters and small downspouts. ABS Insulating has a division of the company that does nothing but gutter services. All gutter services: cleaning, maintaining, repair, new downspouts, replacement, and new gutters, with many types available. They're a leader when it comes to gutter protection. Call ABS Insulating today, 704-821-4343 or absinsulating.com.
Hey guys, it's Amy, Furniture and Design Lead at the Queen City Home Store. Have I got some exciting news for you? Today through April 14th, we're offering 0% financing for 36 months on all furniture and mattress purchases of $8.99 and above. Stop by a Queen City Home Store location to check out our new living, dining, and bedroom collections. So we'll see you there at the Queen City Home Store, where you're always home.
The professionals at Kilo Exterminating Company have over 70 years of experience in pest control. Throughout the years, they always pride themselves on maintaining the highest standard of quality and customer service, with every technician being state certified. And moisture readings are standard with every inspection. Their top priority is ensuring your home is free from pests such as ants, mosquitoes, termites, and any other pests wreaking havoc on your home. That's Kilo Exterminating at 704-333-9855 or online, kilo.biz. That's 704-333-9855.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. We're talking about education on today's show and the trades, put tools in schools, and what the solutions are to these issues we have with labor shortages and all. But to me, it has nothing. Well, it really has nothing to do with the shortage of labor in our labor force. It has more to do with our kids and their well-being and their happiness and their love for life, because they're not happy. Students aren't happy. Talk to them. They'll tell you. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, they're not happy.
No.
And you know what we all want in life? Happy. And then there's, no, you want money. No, you want, everybody's got to have money. We're chasing money. That's the problem. We're dedicated and live around money. Not happy. No, we don't teach that. We don't teach that in school. To have purpose, to serve your fellow man. That's the natural God law. Am I right or wrong?
Well, you're right.
I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be, but that's not the way it is. Why?
Because that's an individual society, not a government society.
And it's not wrapped around money. It's wrapped around purpose, serving, and happy.
Right.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what we need to teach our kids, but we're not. No, you're going to college. You're going to get a degree. And my question is, for what?
Well, just like Michael said a while ago, only 27% of college graduates actually have a career in, whatever major that they went to college for.
And they're in debt for getting that degree that they have to pay for the rest of most of their adult life.
Well, in I'm going to date myself here, but like 1999 or something, I was a supervisor in Hickory for a Fortune 500 corporation. And I've got positions on night shift, and I'm hiring college graduates and putting them on night shift running machines 25 years ago. Has it got better or worse since?
About the same.
It's got worse.
It's gotten worse.
Yeah. So going to college, may have been a viable motto to have in the 50s, maybe the 60s, early 70s.
It started going downhill in the mid 70s.
Right.
So when they started jerking all the tools out.
Right. So now we need, you need to look at, again, what's going to make you a successful student in school, what's going to make you a successful community member. And that's where you get to be happy, when you get to be successful.
Right. Yeah. But this homeschool.
Yeah, homeschool. So a lot of people, you talk, you look at Barack Obama and those folks, they would always send their kids to private schools. And so those have always been around, but the homeschool craze is catching on too. And at first, if you look back, the homeschool people, they wanted that they felt that public school wasn't providing a viable educational environment for learning attainment. They're going to school, but they're not learning what they need to learn. But nowadays, we've got the biggest push, I think, in homeschool is the environment or the culture of the school itself, where there's very little discipline.
Right.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah. So we see a lot of people pulling their kids out and going into homeschools for the kind of the environment. So it's the lack of discipline that's in the schools. Also, a big part of it is they're pushing these ideologies.
Yep.
And those are, I consider them to be anti-Western culture ideologies. And so the schools are really not a place to get any truth anymore. Teachers need to teach truth. A light is either on or off unless you put a dim, but
Oh yeah.
but again, so we go back to the sciences, where you got male cattle and you got female cattle, and that's what it is. And that is the truth. And if you get away from teaching the truth, then you start getting into these environments that we got now in our school systems.
Back to common sense.
Common sense, yeah.
The truth shall and will set you free.
Yeah, but we've got to get back to where we're teaching the truth
in every aspect of life.
Right.
Because we've been trained, and I'm sorry to say this, to lie, to deceive, to manipulate.
But just as I talked about AI really helping with these people, these kids with learning disabilities and things like that, and how it will decimate the education environment, AI is also going to allow a homeschool education to be just as successful as any other education across the world, because it's going to give you those learning tools that you may not have on an individual level, but now you're going to be able to get those learning tools through an AI program.
The future is definitely going to be interesting wrapped around technology.
Right.
There's no question about it. I worked with a young lady. She was on the show here a couple weeks back, Aujane Cienciola. I said it right out of the gate. Wow. Young lady, 28 years old, and she's phenomenal because she's been raised with technology.
Yeah.
Now, and she's got some great, and here's something I want to touch on. The lack of men in families is a tremendous issue. Here recently, I've had several ladies on the show with 3 boys and 2 kids, or 2 boys and a girl, whatever, but there's no man. They're divorced. That's a big problem.
Yeah.
And it's become large.
Mm-hmm.
The dysfunctionality in families.
Right.
Now, I don't know the solution. Yeah, I do know the solution. It's called love and communication.
Yeah.
And the grass ain't greener, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
But that's a big issue. The male-dominated, there's a reason men are men.
But our society is a non-commitment society.
Wonder how that happened.
Well, that's because that's how we're taught.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've been taught to be the way you are.
Right.
How do we change it?
Our society is a how many times you put something on Craigslist or whatever to sell, and there's 57 people that want to buy it, but nobody actually shows up to buy it?
I don't know. I don't do that sort of thing.
Yeah, I do. But yeah, because we're I want that. I'm going to be over such and such and such.
They don't show up.
Never show, because we're a no commitment society.
And here's another validation of that. you have events and they call you and say they're going to be there,
And the day before,
and they don't even show.
Wow.
Now I've got industry people doing that.
Right.
They commit,
Yeah.
and the day of it, no shows.
Yeah.
I mean, there again, this commitment thing. What does that mean anymore?
Right.
So if industry does not step up, nothing will change.
Right.
Because the education system will not change.
Right.
As long as it's driven the way they're driving it.
Right.
And the only way we can change it is we change it.
Right. It's got to be, education has to be changed from the outside.
Yes, sir.
I
agree.
Yeah.
100%.
They're not gonna stop the gravy train themselves.
And they're going to fight the gravy train.
Keep
they're
it
going
going.
to fight it, keep it going. Because I've witnessed it.
And we were talking about Doge a little bit ago, and you want to, so Doge is parking the gravy train and taking the wheels off of it, and then scrapping the parts because you don't need it anymore.
Didn't need it before. They just didn't know what was going on.
And you talked about our deficit, federal, and I talked to last time I was here. I talked about the real deficit being true education.
Yeah.
But we also got a monetary deficit, and it's how much now?
37 trillion, something like that.
Yeah.
Up in the 30s. I think it's 37 trillion.
So our nation paid $37 trillion for what?
This is something, and a lot of financial people out there is probably going to say he's an idiot, and that's okay. I am. I own it. But if you've got $37 trillion in debt, where'd the money go?
Yeah.
It's out there, folks. Look around you. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's been dispersed among corporate America and everything else. It's out there. You own that debt. A lot of you wealthy people have that debt in your pockets.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
The money's out there. Where did it go? They're finding out where it went.
Yeah. Right.
And it's just corruption on top of corruption and greed upon top of greed.
Mm-hmm.
And once you attack somebody's wallet, see, I don't have a wallet on purpose. I have no money. And I'm dead serious. I'm just I live from hand to mouth. And some people say, well, why didn't you plan? I didn't want to. It wasn't a priority in my life. What's a priority in my life is my value system.
Right.
The way I live, the way I give. And I know if you give, you get what you need. If you give, you'll get what you need.
Yeah.
And that's another God law.
Yeah.
And it works.
Now, I'm kind of upset with you, though, because I did have a federal grant to study how to grow crops in total darkness.
You did?
I did. Yeah. And we was going to study that and see if it's viable.
Okay. One of them Doge things.
Yeah, that's right, man. Shut me down.
Yeah, for sure. We need that. We don't. For what? Anyway, this whole thing's out of control. But you know what? My purpose is the kids.
Right.
That's all. The kids. Now, how are we going to change it? People call me crazy. I'm not getting paid to do this. I sure could use some financial help because we got a lot of work to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes money. But more than all, it takes commitment. Right. Commitment of what? Time. If we don't give our time, nothing will change. And then you say, but I've got to show some return. No, I'm sorry, there is none.
Right.
The kids are our return.
Right.
Their future's our return. And your future's what you get in your return when you call somebody to come out to your house to fix something.
Right.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we talked about apprenticeships earlier. I've talked to hundreds, if not thousands of kids. A lot of them, most of them actually, don't even know what the word means. So if we're trying to push apprenticeship programs, don't you think we need to tickle their fancy a little bit before that to get them even interested in something they know nothing about?
Right.
Am I right or wrong?
Of course, yeah.
You're putting the cart before the horse,
right?
Because we're so far in debt on that level, that we need to get in these schools, raise the awareness of these kids, engage them with activities that tickle that interest, and proceed to carry that out in their future and give them resources around that, which we're doing or doing our dangest. with put tools in school.
Right. And like I said, you got to get in there. You got to show 'em. And just as you said a while ago, you're in a lot of high schools. You want to get into middle schools.
Oh yeah,
but we also got to get in elementary schools.
Absolutely.
So we've
and
really,
that's where we need to get parents involved.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's really where. And again, the last time I was here in December, and I talked to you about when do young folks start getting interests, and so when do they start picking out a favorite sport?
Exactly.
When do they start picking out a favorite sports team, or maybe a favorite sports star or player, or maybe it's an entertainer, maybe it's a song, or whatever. So at the same time that they're picking out these interests in entertainment and sports, they can also start developing interest in, well, what do I like to do with my hands? Or what do I like to do? Do I like to read?
Right.
Like to have math? So we can, and that's in elementary school. So if you see a kid that has, I like to do ballet, or I like to paint, I like to sing, I like to play baseball, I like to play football. Well, that's a time to start introducing careers.
Yep. Adolescence, perfect. If they haven't gotten it before then in elementary.
Right.
Middle schools, adolescent, they're just blossoming. They're just growing like crazy.
Time to get to middle school, then we can start putting them into some hands-on type learning environments.
It's where I had most of mine at Sedgefield Junior High School. I took an art class over there that I loved. Loved the teacher. And then I can remember what she looked like. I just can't remember her name.
Yeah.
And then I took shop.
That's when you bring the art of teaching back.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer content delivery.
It's a application.
There's the aha moment.
Yeah, the application.
Right. The aha moment. They're actually interested.
It's like music.
It's like music, imagine.
And you're a singer. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
David's a big time singer here.
Well, I don't say that. Anyway.
You get in front of crowds and sing the Star Spangled Banner, dude.
Yeah.
That's a singer.
Okay.
Wouldn't you say?
Well,
yeah, being Mr. Humble now. But, but back then. But music.
Yeah.
Look at the creativity around music.
Yeah.
Once you learn music, there's math.
A
lot of math.
A lot of math.
A lot of math in
you
music.
can tie a lot of math into music.
Oh, my gosh, yes. And because I took music for 7 years of my education.
Right.
Because I loved it.
Right.
I wasn't great at it because I couldn't sit still long enough.
Right.
But I still, what I learned was great.
Yeah.
But I learned everything I learned through application.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where I'm coming from. I know through my life and my experiences that I learned about everything I knew, even with people, because what I did was serve.
Yep.
Well, when you serve people, you must communicate with people.
You have those interactions, and you learn from the interactions.
You sure do.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
Right.
I'm still screwing up.
Yeah.
But every time I screw up, I learn. And let me hit on a big factor that we need to talk about, and that's fear. That's fear in our kids. Our kids today don't talk enough. They're afraid to speak up. I see it in every time I'm with a group of kids. It's fear. We need to teach them to not fear failure.
Right.
To fail. Because when you fail, you learn.
Yeah.
That's the only time you learn.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when you take a test, what do you look at?
Yeah.
The red marks.
Yeah. But the reason we have more fear and fear of failure is we have less and less experience.
Like I said,
and
application.
Like I've told a lot of people, education is like a gemstone. It has many different facets. And fear and failure and experiences and abilities and relevance, those are all different facets of that educational gemstone. So education just isn't a word that we write out on a piece of paper. And you talked about, what is education?
Yeah, what is education?
Well, education is that gemstone with all these different facets, all these different sides. And it ain't just a word you write out on a piece of paper. And so when you realize all those different facets and you address all those different facets, that's when you get an education.
Yep. But we're not doing that.
We're not doing any of that.
Nope.
No.
And how do we change it? Okay. Let me go down the road I want to go down, and that's Put Tools in Schools. And by the way, David has become a board member of Put Tools in Schools.
Thank
and
you, Ray. Appreciate that.
I appreciate your involvement.
Yeah.
Need your wisdom and some of your insight.
Well, I appreciate your consideration.
But what do? Well, we collectively, industry, community, parents, churches, all kind of groups need to step up and understand the importance of what we're talking about. PutToolsInSchools.org. We're doing our darndest to make that website complete with where we're going, what we're doing, and how we're doing it. And it's a we thing because we can't do it without industry and the community. This is not something, but it takes people. And one of the largest components of what we're doing is all around involvement.
Right.
And if you don't get involved, which it's very low, is nothing's going to change.
Right.
Now, you can go out there and do it on your own, and all that's beautiful.
Yeah.
But we can do a lot more. You've heard the expression, it takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's become a village. But let's collaborate and work together. This thing in Charlotte, everybody wants to be on their own, so to speak. I don't know if it's ego or what it is, but we need to be collective, collaborate together as a group of industry professionals and figure it out. I don't know who's going to take the lead, but somebody's got to do something, right?
Right.
I'm just offering a solution,
mm-hmm.
a resource.
Right.
But I can't do it without other people.
Right.
I call that the OP factor,
mm-hmm.
other people. And it's the biggest concern I have because OP have not become dependable, have become less dependable.
Yeah.
You said it. And here's another problem with our schools.
Right.
I've heard teachers say they reached out to industry and they made a commitment they'd come into the classroom and they don't show up. Well, we're not supporting our commitment and our integrity, are we? As an industry. There's a lot of talk going on, but nobody's doing. And we got to change that. And you can get mad all you want. You can get tired of hearing it. Honestly, I'm tired of saying it.
Yeah.
But I got to keep it up because we've got to make a difference to the future in our kids' lives. Stupid has become a serious disease.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And we got to fix it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, educators, what was you said about educators? Go ahead.
Okay. An educator is a person that uses data and gimmicks to hide the fact that they're not teaching.
Gotcha. Good definition. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I don't know. Come back. We'll talk about it. 704-227-8986. I know I beat this horse silly, but I ain't going to stop until we see some smiles.
Nobody's bucking you off.
No, I ain't going to do it. And I love you all. I swear I do. I love people. I do. I love these kids. I'm going to go deal with a group here in about an hour or so. We'll see. Well, a couple hours. We'll see what's up over at Garinger. I mean, who knows? We'll see. I'll talk about it next week. More to come about your house. Sit down. Come on back. David has got to leave us at 10. Billy Stiles is calling in, I do believe. Next week, next Saturday, Mike Libretto's in studio talking about being a restaurateur. And what's that all about in the big city of Charlotte, North Carolina, and what he's all about. So that's next week on the show. And more to come down the road. I'll give you a rundown. And we got a new website coming, aboutyourhouseradio.com, because the old one's old. It's worn out. It doesn't work anymore. So we're going to replace it. But more to come right here. Stay with us. We'll be back.
More about the show? Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Sam Attero of AtteroMedia.com, and I love empowering my clients and partners to make the most out of today's latest digital media tools. We specialize in building production systems and podcast studios for small to mid-sized churches and local businesses here in Charlotte. Do you need new media production gear? Do you need help learning how to use it? You're in great hands with our family business, Attero Media of Charlotte. That's ETTARO Media.com.
Steve Helms here with the Al Metal Driving Corporation. The Al Metal Driving Corporation is a full-service driving company. Regardless of the problem, we can handle it. Does your clothes dryer take longer than 45 to 50 minutes to dry a load? If so, you need your dryer vent cleaned or checked. The clothes dryer is the most inefficient appliance in the house and should never take longer than 45 to 50 minutes. Call Al Metal Dryer Vent today at 704-846-8368 or online at almetaldryervent.com. That's 704-846-VENT. Have you cleaned your dryer vent lately?
Owens Chimney Systems is known for all professional chimney services since 1989, including chimney cleaning, recommended annually, chimney evaluations and inspections, any and all chimney repairs and restorations, gas fireplace and gas fire log service, furnace cleaning, cleaning out one of the most overlooked appliances in the home. Get it done right the first time. That's Owens Chimney Systems at 704-554-9595. Or you can visit us online at owenschimneysystems.com.
Carolina Foundation Solutions is a family-owned and operated company and a licensed general contractor in North and South Carolina, providing foundation solutions from the mountains to the sandy shores of the coast. At Carolina Foundation Solutions, our objective is to help educate, offer guidance, and provide assistance. With over 200 years of combined experience, our family of experts are ready to help protect and repair your largest investments. If you have a problem, we have a solution. Call 877-34626 or online, carolinafoundationsolutions.com.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
Self in the back of the headlines.
All right, welcome back. Talking trash here on About Your House with David Richardson. I appreciate you coming in today, big guy. I do. It was kind of last minute, but I really thank you. We're talking about our system and what we can do about it. And really, the main topic of today's show is our students, our kids. Yeah. That's what we're here to, help and try to raise the awareness of the opportunities that they don't know about, because our education system is not even introducing these career pathways to our kids.
Right.
And all you got to do is ask them,
mm-hmm.
And 90%, and I'm being conservative there, of kids coming out of school, and once again, I say this, they can't read a tape measure. And they say they can, but when you put it in front of them, they can't do it.
No.
And here's the sad part. A lot of educators can't read a tape measure.
Right.
Because I've tested them too. And that's pretty indicative of what's going on.
Right.
That to me is a benchmark.
Well.
And some people say, why is that significant?
Because, reading a tape measure is part of that creativity.
Absolutely.
And we don't teach creativity.
That's evidenced by the fact you can't read a tape measure.
That's right. Even the educators can't read a tape measure.
Right.
But reading a tape measure is important.
It's a life skill.
Right.
It's danged important. Really important. Matter of fact, if you go to do a task, you won't do the task because you can't read a tape measure. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's that fear element in the fact that you're ignorant to something you learned in the 3rd grade.
Right.
We got a problem, folks.
Yeah.
You can say what you want. Oh, but I got a degree. For what?
I got pieces of paper too. But no,
I have none.
Yeah.
You know, I got a certificate. And here's the thing, too.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the best version of a remodeling guy I could be. So I
Right,
go get
right.
a CR certificate.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Certified remodeler in the
That's
NARI
right.
program.
Yeah.
12 weeks. We had study group, studied.
Yeah.
Took an 8-hour exam. They say it's more extensive and harder than this contract license.
8-hour exam.
And it's not even open book.
8 hours?
8 hours, open book.
Lord.
And I passed. And
Yeah.
I got my accreditation.
Yeah.
I'm a certified remodeler.
Yeah.
But I had to pay over $500 a year to keep that designation.
Right.
So in other words, it's another cash cow.
Well, you've heard of the College Board, right?
Oh, yeah.
That does the AP exams and everything like that.
Yeah.
College Board, they make $50 million a year selling tests. And you know where the $50 million come from? Public schools that pay for the AP exam.
It's money.
Money.
It's education is a head count cash cow.
Pay to play.
Exactly. Everything's about money. And how's that working for us? And everybody's upset over Doge.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
Go for it. You know, you can have my account numbers if you want them. Take all the money I got. I don't care. Just get rid of the crap. I'm
now,
sick of it.
Anybody in America that doesn't understand that the government already has all your data.
Yeah, right. That's mind blowing.
The government already has your data.
Yeah. And if they don't, they can find out in the Mississippi Minute.
Yeah.
That ain't hard.
No. They've got these servers. It ain't just Facebook and Google and in Apple, which up where I'm from, I got Facebook, Google, and Apple all around me with these data centers.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It's the only place in the world that's got those three just that close together. But I want to get on one thing. So you're always kicking construction and skilled trades for not stepping up. In the education realm, and you're exactly right. But we've also got to get into the community.
Yes, I agree.
And by saying that, I mean parents.
Right.
We need to get in front of parents that have babies, 1, 2, 3, 4-year-olds, or that are in elementary school, and we need to educate them.
On that note, I would like to develop a mobility program.
I'm with you on that.
With the trailer.
Right.
I want 3 trailers.
Yeah.
I won't start with 1.
I'm on that. But again, so where and you're right with, the trades, anybody in the trades, if you see them and you walk up to them and give them a swift kick in the rear end, they deserve it.
Sure. Yeah.
But we've also got to get into our communities.
Right.
Educate our communities. What is student success? And today, if you say, if you go to hire a high school graduate, what skills do you expect them to have today? Any skills?
From what I've seen, I don't expect it, but I would hope for it.
Yes.
The only skills they got is they don't even know how to talk.
No.
Or communicate.
Right.
And that's the most important thing we do every day.
Did you see that Harvard's going back to introducing remedial math?
No, I hadn't read. I don't keep up that way.
Are you kidding me?
Remedial math.
Yeah.
Remedial.
Right.
Unbelievable.
But yet the Federal Department of Education thinks that they're still a viable department.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You cannot get the people with this mindset that we have today to change to a new mindset. You're going to have to replace the people and get a new mindset. The educators, the educrats, I call them, have to go.
I know.
The educrats have to go.
And how do we do it? I don't know, but we got to do something.
Right. If you've been in education for 10 years and you haven't worked to change it. Now, if you're in the classroom, you're a teacher, you don't have a lot of pull. But if you're in some type of an educational administration position and you haven't done any, and you've been in education for 10 years and you haven't done anything to change education, then you're part of the problem. You're not part of the solution.
Bingo. And you're getting your paycheck.
Yeah.
And you want to be in administration because you get more money.
Yeah. But you're not changing anything.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing?
I'm getting more money. I'm chasing more money.
What are you chasing the money? That's what education to me has become.
Right.
It's a cash cow.
And I can't do that. I can't just show up every day knowing that what I'm doing, well, what I was doing in the trades was, but overall,
right,
I had a problem with that.
I can understand, and I'm with you 100%. But there again, in closing here, because David's going to step out. He's got to head somewhere, got an appointment, a commitment. He's getting out of here. But in order for us to change all this, first of all, you have to understand the reality of it. And that's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to change.
Right.
You hit it.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to change.
No.
I went to Clemson. You're going to Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
I went to state. You're going to state.
That's right.
You're going to get a degree.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be anything unless you're educated.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, there's a different pathway to education other than institutional education.
That's correct.
And just as beneficial, just as profitable, just as more purpose-filled, actually.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I'm seeing the numbers where they're losing educated teachers out in vast numbers.
Yeah.
Why? We just told you why.
It's the dysfunctional educational environment in our schools.
And right now you've heard an educator that got out of it simply because of what we've been discussing.
Right.
So, hey, puttoolsinschools.org is a resource, is a way out. We talk about the mobility program.
Yeah.
Trailer. You put a trailer out there that a pickup truck, 2-inch ball on the back of it will carry.
Mm-hmm.
And you get parents involved with programs for these kids on a small basis, of building things.
Right.
Simple things.
Yeah.
But put tools in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Put a pencil and a tape measure.
Right.
Teach them to read a tape measure.
Right.
Because without it, life skills aren't there. Teach your kids, we need to teach them how to cook.
Yeah.
How to do basic, simple things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say it, and this is really going to upset some people. We're coddling our damn kids.
Yeah.
I see it everywhere I go.
Right.
And then when I speak a little loud, oh.
You're hurting my feelings.
You hurt my feelings.
Like I go to my safe space.
I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. I just got a big mouth. I'm not changing my values. I love kids. I hug them. I squeeze them. Oh, you can't do that.
I hear it all the time.
Can't do that.
No.
Well, I love you, Dave.
Thank you, brother. Love you, brother Ray.
It. Yes, sir.
Thanks,
Thank you.
sir.
He's out, and Billy Stiles is on the phone. We're going to talk to Billy. Been a while. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks,
Appreciate you. I
Yes,
really
sir.
do. And he's going to bug out of here, and I'm going to get Billy on the phone. We're going to talk about, it's going to be 86 next week. Oh, boy, that's going to get people grabbing the shovels and the hose. Well, it ain't time, is it, Dave?
No.
You're a country boy. It ain't time, is it?
Shoot, no. Lord.
We got at least another month.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's right.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I've got my garden has been plowed and tilled.
Right.
But nothing's in the ground yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How many acres you plow?
I don't have about a half.
About a half?
Yeah.
That ain't bad.
No.
Nice garden.
That's right.
Nice garden. All right. He's out. We're going to take a break. Top of the hour break here. Billy Stiles is up. We'll be back with more about your house.
Grab another cup of coffee and join us for Hour 3. Billy Stiles calling in, talking gardening, what you need to know, valuable information coming your way. So stay tuned. You won't want to miss it. About Your House is brought to you in part by Queen City Home Store. It's a family-owned store serving the Carolinas for over 70 years. They're the largest independent appliance retailer in the Carolinas, and they're constantly growing and taking pride in the experience they offer customers with a knowledgeable sales staff, product selection, and lowest price guarantee. About Your House is also brought to you in part by PutToolsInSchools.org, connecting students to tools of the trades and raising awareness of the many career pathways. And now, here's your host, Ray Terry.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 3 here. I certainly enjoyed the conversation with David this morning about our educational problems and what we can do about it. Go ahead and pull him up. Hey, Billy, how you doing, sir? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ray. How you doing today?
I'm good. Excuse me. I'm great.
Good.
I'm great. It's going to be a beautiful day, is it not? What's it doing out there? We got clear skies.
We got clear skies, a little bit of light wind. It looks like that may pick up with a storm coming in, but yeah, we're in some great filling days, but we're in very bad drought.
Very bad. Tell us about the drought. How is the drought? We hadn't had a lot of rain.
No, we haven't. And once we get it, it seems like we're not in a drought because everything is blooming and coming up in spring, which is just a natural occurrence. But we've been in a drought since last November, October, from an agricultural standpoint. And right now, it's getting. It's going to be. I think it's going to be bad this summer. I think it's going to be continued. I think we better prepare for it. If you're gardening or if you're taking care of your landscape, you want to make sure that you're reducing those nitrogens anyway because they promote disease in the summer. Start focusing on more potassium. Potassium is going to increase a larger root biomass, which has more access to moisture that's being held in the soil and will help your plants survive a lot more. And a lot of people do just the opposite this time of year. They're pouring on nitrogen, trying to surge the growth and all of that. And that's just the wrong way to go about it.
Give them steroids.
That's right. And all that's going to do is just make the plant grow big and everybody thinks you're a hero. Then all of a sudden it starts collapsing and dying. But the bad thing about nitrogen right now in this drought, it'll turn your green grasses black and it'll scorch you out and it kills a lot of the microbials because that salt content that people has put out has not diluted and is very strong. That's why you'll walk along and see all the earthworms beside the sidewalk.
I hear you. Well, on the drought issue, we back years ago we talked a lot about rain barrels.
Oh yes.
Well, if you're gardening or got a home garden, which I highly encourage, and as you do, Billy, to people,
absolutely,
rain barrels are very effective. And if you predict a drought or a dry summer, you may want to consider getting a rain barrel and to have some, good rainwater for your garden.
Well, anytime that we're really in an urban environment, as we go through the history of man in an urban sprawl, we should be installing rain containers catching that rainwater, but then that is then restricted by government agencies because now you're affecting the water that was falling within a given area, and you're harvesting because it would have ran off and watered trees or fed the streams and all of that, but you're only taking a proportion of it. But then if everybody did it, it would take a lot. But then again, they would also disperse it right back into the soil because that's what they harvested it for. So it's coming back.
I know.
I don't really see a problem. I water everything I've got. I tell my plants. I'm sitting amongst about 300 plants right now. I tell them if it don't rain, y'all gonna have to hold on because I don't like giving them the city water. The pH.
Oh Lord, no, that's terrible.
Really huge difference.
Yeah, they don't like it. That's for sure. And you can tell if
No, they don't.
If you're a gardener and you've used city water to irrigate and water your garden, you can obviously tell a difference if you're into your gardening. Big difference in the water.
The pH runs somewhere around 9%, and that's pretty dang high to be watering with, but people don't realize that.
Well,
and if you are watering, you need to water correctly and not water every day, but water once a week, water 1 inch, put a rain gauge out there, determine how long it takes to put that inch out, and then start at that.
Right. Got it. Well, you know what? It's going to be 86 this week, but we still, 88 they're calling for next Saturday. 88 degrees. Then it's going to get
hot.
Then it's going to go down to into the 60s the week after. Ain't that crazy?
The poor old plants don't know what the heck's going on. The xylem's going up, it's coming down, and they're saying, "Hey, give me some balance here," but it's hard to find any balance. Now we've got another threat coming in here on top of all of that. It's cankerworm season.
Yeah, it is. And pollen's going crazy, and it's cankerworms. Are they out yet? I haven't seen any yet.
Cankerworms will be out any week now. I mean, like any day. Let's put it that way. Any day the cankerworms are going to be out. If you've got a home and you want to be prepared for it, not just for the cankerworm, but for other worms, tent caterpillars, cutworms like on your tomatoes, and other type worms like that, you can use BT.
BT, what's BT?
It's in the Bacillus family. It is a organic control for worms. We used to use it. It was used to be used when the planes would fly over Charlotte. Remember when they would fog for the cankerworm?
Yeah, I do remember that. I don't know how many years ago.
That was a product called BT, and you can find that at your local hardware store and other places like that. But that's something good to do. The cankerworms. And then you got the grubs and bagworms are right on the tail end of both of those. And the bagworms will eat you alive. If you've got any kind of conifer plant in your property, beware. Look it up, Google it, and understand it. BT will also take that out. Grubs right now are coming to the surface from the winter, and they've been coming to the surface for a while now because the ground's been warmer. But as they emerge, they're going to emerge as flea beetles, June beetles, and the dreaded Japanese beetles, and they'll start eating everything that you've got. So you can put out a milky spore, depending on if it's the old formula or the new formula, 3 times or 6 times, and that's all it takes for 10 years, and now you're pretty much grub-free.
Really? Repeat that to people, because grubs can really cause they can just play havoc on your yard.
Well, they'll destroy the root system of your turf, and you're wondering what's going on. You're blaming your landscaper for not being any good. Of course, if he didn't put out a grub control, he is a little bit no good. Sorry about that, landscapers. But and then they come up on top. What they don't eat when they get through eating there, they come up and destroy everything out. You knock out roses or any other type of flowers and things you got around the house. Just good to be, proactive. And anybody out there that has fruit trees, love my fruit trees. You want to use a little yellow sticky pad right now, because right now the different insects that's going to lay the eggs that's going to become the worms in your peach tree, or is going to get in and lay their eggs to be another threat on your plant, will be caught in those traps. And they're pretty inexpensive, organic way to do it, whether you have gnats or whatever it may be that you're trying to control around those plants.
Well, we're moving into bug season. There's no question about it. That's why I called you and wanted you to heads up everybody, let them know what's coming.
Well, it's coming, but we're thankful to be alive and be able to go out here and live amongst them and hopefully control them, especially on the plants that we Well, I've been babying hazelnut trees for years, and then the deer decided they would come in and alter my plans, and they had a feast and took them down a notch or two, or a foot or two, if I may say.
I hear you. Well, the wildlife is what we in rural North Carolina. The wildlife becomes a big bug. They
That's exactly right. But we're actually in their dang territory. That's the problem. You can't blame them too much. You know, you come and put a house. Me and my granny used to eat stuff here, and you build a house on my plot.
There you go.
You know.
Yeah, we're taking over the environment. You know, habitat for these for the wildlife. And right now, with all the urban sprawl that's going on in the building, our wildlife is going crazy. We're going to have a show, have Andrew Cole on about wildlife, you know, and
Well, Andrew.
Andrew's a mess, but
he's the man. He's the man. If you got problems, folks, use Andrew. Give him a call. He can take care of it. You know, snakes are out early. Well, not early. They're just, I guess, are more visible. I've ran across 4 already. Last year, I didn't see one. Not one.
Really?
It was my year that I didn't see snakes. This year, I've been amongst them. Everywhere I look and where I'm digging or moving something, there he is.
Well, we didn't have a real cold winter.
We did. Well, that one little spell really put a hurting on stuff, but we did not have a cold winter. That's right.
It was relatively mild, and here we go. I was hoping we'd have a winter that lasts, winter pass.
I was too.
But we didn't
really
get
need
one.
it.
Well, yeah, we do need a heavy, cold winter where we get a lot of ice. I don't like ice.
Well,
it's detrimental and all, but we need cold weather for the balance.
We do need it. We do need it, Ray. It also helps clean the plants of weak branches and stuff to go ahead and fall down, but it can be a dang mess. But it's a mess of Mother Nature that we need.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it.
It's cyclic. I mean, we've got to embrace what is in nature and the way it runs, its cycles, and encourage it actually, because it's a natural balance. And sometimes we take control, and the way we do it's not the best way normally.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%. See what else we got here that's right on the front plate. Leaf litter. Can I talk about that a little bit?
Please do.
Leaf litter, man. Some people, love leaves. I love leaves. Love seeing the changing of the color of them. But when they drop on the ground and they coddle themselves all up underneath your bushes and all on the inside of your bushes, that is a habitat for disaster. It will, no question, help those bushes decline every day going forward that they're there. Leaf litter is also a cover for voles to go in and run around underneath that heavy leaf litter and eat the root systems of your plants, weakening them, along with all the other things of snakes and things that like to get into that litter. And the copperheads, whenever they come out, they'll lay there on the bed of leaves and you won't even see it. But you need to take those out. I'll tell you a little short story. When Biltmore calls, and I go up there, and the last time I went up there, they called it was one of those same things I'd been up there a dozen times for, is it having issues within the rose beds. And here we go again with all that leaf litter. You got 8,000 acres of trees. You got a lot of leaf litter. And then if you use it to compost, you should compost it to its stage 2 compost before you put it in the garden bed. But they'll put the whole leaf in there. So now the growing environment is a compost, and it's hard to grow out of that stuff. A lot of disease and stuff goes on. And so, get your leaf litter out, get ready for the snakes, keep a good, clear breathability under your plants.
What is a good mulch in shrubs, around shrubs, Billy? What's a good mulch? Pine needles?
A lot of mulch. I see a lot of mulches. Mulches is an enemy to most plants because the people who are installing it are putting it out incorrectly as it relates to that plant. Think of that plant sitting there and its roots start expanding as it goes through the beginning of its life. And they position themselves in the soil where they want to be so that they have the porosity of oxygen and water coming in so they can get that first drink and breathe. But then you come in here and you pile 4 inches of mulch on top of it. Well, now all of a sudden that root's 4 inches lower than what it should be.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
You're changing the grade.
That's right. That's exactly right. And they live But I try to help people understand this. If they lived a life, if they were totally healthy for 20 years, but they only lived 8 years in your yard because you restricted its ability to grow by the cultural practices that you were putting on it or ignoring about it. So a good mulch should be, I like the best is triple hammered hardwood mulch. Next is hardwood chips. Both of those will help feed the microbial population in the soil, and your soil will get richer and richer and richer with each application. If you're using dyed mulch, I hate to tell you this, but dyed mulches, they float, they go all over the place. Bet me and check me out. Everywhere you look, the stuff is not in the bed, it's all out everywhere. And if you look at it, it gets all dried up, and it's just a terrible thing to use. I know you like the black, I know you like the red, not you, but people do. But it's the wrong stuff to put around your plants. It's just all there is to it.
Gotcha.
If you're looking at facts,
I hear
and if
you.
you're looking at plant health.
Well, that's what we're after. You're after a healthy garden or a healthy growth. The one thing, let's go back. The buildup of mulch around plants can be very detrimental to the drainage around your house as well. When you keep adding mulch and add mulch, you're elevating the grade, therefore sometimes pushing more water into your house and causing issues there. And also elevating it higher than the crawl space vent. Sometimes you started out when you bought the house and you had 5-6 inches there, but you keep adding mulch around you keep adding mulch, and it just keeps adding height to your grade, and therefore raising the elevation, and water now is going into your crawl space through your crawl space vents because you've raised the elevation. You need to pay attention to that sort of thing.
Well, you're a lot like me because you spent so much of our life around homes. We see these things that people who live there, they live and they go out and look at it, but we're out looking at it and evaluating it day in, day out, year after year, decade after decade. So please take notice of what Ray's saying. Water is your number one enemy of your home, and the way that your landscape is positioned or the things that you do that elevate it, like Ray's talking about, it's very detrimental. And you start getting moisture underneath the house, you got a whole nother set of problems. And unfortunately for most everybody, they don't find out until the dry rot's already started.
Yes, out of sight, out of mind. We're going to take a break. Hang the phone. Hold the phone, okay? We're going to take a break here. We'll come back and talk more gardening. We'll be back to About Your House right after these messages.
Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
John DeLand here, manager at Crowntown Cannabis, Charlotte's original CBD and hemp resource, where the staff can help you with any questions or concerns. All of our products are third-party tested for purity and quality. Oils, edibles, Delta-9, topical creams, vapes, THCA flower, and products to help with the pets. Visit our new South End store at 115 Park Avenue in the South End. All 4 of our Charlotte area stores are open 7 days a week. Check online for the store near you. That's crowntowncannabis.com.
There's big news in the Carolinas. Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances is now Queen City Home Store. For over 70 years, we've been your trusted retailer for appliances, electronics, and more. Now, we're taking it to the next level with a new name, a fresh look, and more ways to serve you, offering the same outstanding service you've always counted on, while bringing you everything you need for your home. Queen City Home Store. Same great service, more possibilities. Visit us at queencityonline.com.
Hi, I'm Sam Otero of AteroMedia.com, and I love empowering my clients and partners to make the most out of today's latest digital media tools. We specialize in building production systems and podcast studios for small to mid-sized churches and local businesses here in Charlotte. Do you need new media production gear? Do you need help learning how to use it? You're in great hands with our family business, Attero Media of Charlotte. That's ETTARO Media.com.
Let's face it, we do not like bugs and especially spiders and ants. Unwanted pests in the home are not only creepy, they can also spread sickness and cause significant damage to the structural integrity of our homes. Kilo Exterminating has been taking care of pest control problems in the Charlotte area for over 70 years with award-winning customer service. Moisture readings are standard with all crawl space inspection. Call Kilo Exterminating at the first sign of infestation, 704-333-9855, or online at kilo.biz. Again, that's 704-333-9855.
Mike Libretto here, inviting you to come in and experience Charlotte's best New York pizza and great Italian food at Libretto's Pizzeria. Serving Charlotte proudly since 2008, Libretto's pizzas are sure to please by the slice or grab a whole pie. Pastas, entrees, great appetizers, sandwiches, and wings. A menu to please the whole family. Dine in or take out, available 7 days a week. Visit us online at librettospizzeria.com or call us at 704-714-1442. That's Libretto's Pizzeria. Stop in and become part of the family.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. I was Jay and the Americans, right? Is that right? I did it? Okay, cool. All right, got Billy Stiles on the phone talking. Well, we're moving into growing season. The spring has sprung. Let's grow something. Billy Stiles is on the phone. You with me, Billy?
I'm with you.
Awesome. This warm weather, we're talking about. Oh, before we go further, explain to people the difference between moles and voles and how they act differently and go after different vegetations and what have you. Like you got a meat eater and then you got a veggie eater. How about laying a difference between a vole and a mole?
Yeah, moles they can talk about being doing damage into your turf area, and they'll come out of the wooded area as the warm area. I mean, as the weather starts warming, and we have them coming out into the yard, and they're creating a tunnel right up underneath the surface. So when you go out there, it's all squishy, and you can walk all over it. That is a mole.
You can feel them.
A vole has a long snout on it, and if you were to look in a ornamental bed or an area that has some kind of mulch, has mulch or pine needles under it, and they love to go underneath pine needles. We didn't talk about that a while ago.
Right, that's why I wanted to bring them up, because voles love certain environments.
Oh yeah, and underneath the pine needles, the hawks won't see them moving as much. And if you move that pine needles back slowly, you can see all kind of little tunnels. It's like a snake's been in there going around, and that is the vole. And all of a sudden, your plant starts getting weak and not performing. You don't know what's wrong with it. More than likely, you may have a vole. So the moles don't really damage the plants. They just
don't they like grubs?
Oh yeah, I thought I heard you saying something else. I'm sorry. Yeah, they love grubs. They love earthworms too, and so that's part of the problem with having them around is they'll take out both. If you're using something like the milky spore and taking that grub population out, Then you can get a simple or a little stake that you stick in the ground that emits a sound. I know for a fact that works on controlling moles in your yard. Moles becomes a little bit harder. There are poisons out there that you can use. You got to be careful if you've got cats and other animals that could get into it. But yes, they're both a very big threat in the urban landscape.
Now, when you talk about milky spore, applying it to your lawn to control grubs,
and your bed.
And your bed. Okay, milky spore. When should that be?
And you can put it in your garden. I'll tell you something. I did an experiment last year.
Yeah.
To see how many Japanese beetles would lay eggs in a pot. And so I didn't do treating in a certain area. And I had 50, I think it was, my number right, 56 beetle grubs in that one pot.
Wow.
So it's a big flower pot, like a 10-gallon.
Yeah, big one.
That had petunias in it during the summer months, and then beetles laid their eggs to where all of those grubs were in there, and it was an amazing thing. I got pictures of it. It was something else. So if you have those around your house and you're treating everything else, and then your plants are still getting eaten up, you may be contributing to it by not putting that milky spore and or exploring that soil. And it's coming into spring. If you're planting flowers, or you're going to use the same soil, if you are, you need to cultivate it and rejuvenate it by organic matter and food throughout the whole profile, so that your plant can grow and go get food and create a bigger root mass. A lot of times people put the food right at the top, and that's where the roots will be embedded, ready to have their drink when water passes through it. But that creates a shallow plant.
When should you apply milky spore?
I like to put milky spore out on a cycle of March, July, and September. Okay, so March, they're coming up to the surface and they're getting ready to put havoc on every living plant. Okay, so you can start there by starting to take them out. In July, by then, the beetles have laid most of their eggs, and the little grubs are still feeding as they start migrating themselves into the fall cycle. And then in September, October, they'll go crazy eating new grass roots that you have there. And when you plant new grass and you wonder why your grass is not coming up or why your grass is still dying, you'll have massive damage in the September, October months. But then they'll go down for winter. So by putting it out in September, you've got that cycle covered. You got the July laying eggs covered, and you got the emerging cycle coming out in March. That's my strategy anyway.
Well, I know you're going to get differing opinions with different gardeners. That's one thing.
Well, I'm going by the cycle of the plant.
I hear.
The cycle of the insect.
Right, I got you. But so if you want to apply milky spore, it's not too late. We're here at the end of March.
It's not too late. And look, if you want to do it in April, or you want to do it in May, and you want to do it in June and get started, then get started and let's put it out about a 2 or 3 month cycle in between it. And if you can target their life cycle, you'll be a lot more successful sooner.
What is milky spore?
It's a biological thing. It comes in and gets into the grub and kills it.
Is it a liquid? Or is it?
It's a powder.
It's a powder. So it's applied.
You can put it out in spot form, meaning I can put a spot of it here, a spot of it there, with a powder form. I like the granular form because I can spread it throughout the soil, and I can have prills of it everywhere. Whereas I'm putting that spore out, I've got to let that spore move through the soil if I'm not covering the whole soil.
Right. Got it.
And there's options on that. You can read on that and choose which option that you think that you want to do. I'll take the granular and with a chest spreader, and I'll just walk along and hit the beds, the garden, the flowers. And if I'm at your house doing it, I'm going to hit your pots too. Even if you got flowers in, I'm going to sprinkle some in there to help control that. But right now, the pansies are looking gorgeous, but they need to come out because we're going to be in a dry cycle. So if you're going to get flowers out, you need to get them out and get them in the ground. Of course, we're still could have frost here for all the way up to May 1st.
Right. Say that again so people hear you.
We can always have frost. Our frost line is usually April 15th. But we can have frost all the way up to May 1st. And when that frost comes in, you can't You can cover and protect plants from frost. You can't protect them from freezing with a simple blanket over the top of them, okay? There's a difference.
I
The
hear
cold
you.
weather's going to go through and kill it. The frost is going to bite it. So you can protect it from the frostbite.
So gardening. Let's talk about veggie gardens a minute.
Yeah,
Vegetables.
I got me some yellow tomatoes ready to go.
I'm sorry. What'd you just say? My headset.
I got
fell
some sun-dropped tomatoes ready to go. It's just a little early.
When do you think people start planting tomatoes?
Technically,
Yeah.
or just because you want to?
No, but a lot of people plant them in too early, and you know that as well as anybody. They get impatient, and that's what I'm talking about. It's 88 degrees 86 degrees, 84 on Thursday, 86 Friday, 88 Saturday, 82 on next Sunday. Now, people get all in 72, 73 tomorrow. So we're getting into spring, and the nights are next week going to get up to 66. But then the next week, that's the reason I want to talk gardening today. The next week after next is going to get back down into the 40s at night. So, folks.
Okay, and a lot of plants do not like that. And if you got the geranium out there, it's going to be quite upset that you bought down at Lowe's and you got out there. That 40-degree weather may kill it.
That's my point. Because look what
exactly.
look what we got coming. We got a 50 tonight. It's going to be 64 degrees overnight. 64 degrees.
Right.
And then we go down to 50 tomorrow. Then the rest of the week we're in the 60s, and then the next week we're going down to the 40s. Folks, beware. It's way too early.
Beware and look. But if unfortunately, a lot of the good looking stock gets gone early because people are planting without anybody giving them or coaching them agronomically of the true facts of growth cycle. If I plant my tomatoes, I can help with early blight or late blight because of the time that I planted it. The root mass will develop based off the time that I planted it. Because if the ground gets too hot, you're going to slow your root growth. And now my garden's not doing good because I waited late to plant it. But technically, in this area, tomatoes should go in the ground May 10th. Who in the world is going to wait to May 10th? I want to be eating a tomato by then.
Yeah, you want all you want. If you
exactly. So what I do, me through my life, I push Mother Nature just to see what happens and how it does work and how it doesn't work. And it's a fact. You should stay on the planting cycles. The moon and all that stuff really does make a difference. That's why you have a master grower. Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I'm here.
Okay, I got you. You jumped there. It wasn't you. It's technology for us. Yeah. Well, you got how many, Billy?
Yeah.
You there? How old are you now?
I'm here.
How old are you now?
How old am I?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be on June the 13th this year. I'll be 70.
There you go. I knew that. And how many years you been growing?
I've been growing 67 years. I had my first garden at 3 years old.
That's right. I wanted to know your background, so people know that you've been growing and planting with nature your whole life.
A whole life, and I've been doing it, and then I've been blessed with having the ability to help people and all over the country. So I've got to experience a lot of different microclimates, a lot of different soils, both here in the U.S. and in Europe. And it's all exciting stuff to me. Every year is a new year. It's exciting. I was out there 3 weeks ago and looked over, and there comes my asparagus up. I just got down on my knees and started eating it like a cow because that's when it's really good.
Yes, sir.
But so it's a lot of fun being in the world of growing and helping people understand it because everybody just wants to have success,
Well, they do. And, with Charlotte growing and busting it seems like it is, I think more people need to know about container gardening.
Victory garden and container garden is very, very important. And Ray, you can grow a lot of food in a very small place.
That's exactly right.
You
That's
don't
why I
have
brought
to
it up.
have. Yeah, you don't have to have land. If you've got a patio and you've got sunlight, we can show you how to grow stuff.
How many hours of sun do you need a day to grow vegetables?
Depends on which vegetable it is. I like a minimum of 6. But I like to plant my tomatoes and beans. I like to get a lot of morning sun, mid-afternoon sun. Then I like them to sort of go into the shade in the hot, scorching late afternoon.
Right. So if
They've
you're
had
looking,
enough.
so if you're looking for a patio garden or a container garden on your land, be it a patio home, a town home, whatever, and you got a little yard, you can plant a lot of stuff in a small amount of space.
Oh my gosh!
But you got to have sunlight.
And the leaf sunlight test that I did a 2-year test on measuring sunlight and tomatoes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got pictures, I got videos of the whole thing, from taking the rocky soil and converting it. I just made a whole story out of it. And that was only 4 hours of sun. And we had a robust crop.
That's awesome. 4 hours? So
4 hours. It was unbelievable. I called it The Impossible Garden was the title of it. The lady had wanted and she was literally, Ray, in tears. I can't grow tomatoes. I want tomatoes so bad. I just want to have a garden. I'm stuck here. I can't move here. I can't do anything. Look at my yard. And it was on a quartz hill and all. It was had all a white quartz rock in it. And I says, I can get you tomatoes. I says, and so I took off on that venture of doing a big test, and we were successful. And the color of those things were unbelievable, Ray. I have to show you pictures sometime in the video.
That's awesome.
But yeah, don't give up. But if you've got 4 hours, give it a try. And I'll tell you something, if you like turmeric and ginger, both of those plants will grow good with a limited amount of morning sun, and they like the shade in the afternoon. And you can have all the turmeric and ginger you want for your household right there in that pot, right there on your patio in a townhome, a condo, wherever you are with restricted land.
That's awesome. Green
It
beans.
is.
How much sun's green beans need?
Well, growing up, we grew a lot of our green beans, Ray, in our cornfield.
Gotcha.
It's sort of companion. They'd run up the corn, and the corn would pick our stalk, and it was still the stake that held our beans up. But you're anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. You should be 6 to 8 hours. You should have good green beans.
What'll grow with minimal sunlight that's beneficial, like broccoli or whatever, asparagus, whatever?
Asparagus is one of them. Absolutely. You want to get your asparagus. If you can find those roots and get them in now, you may not get anything but asparagus ferns this year. But next year you'll start getting your asparagus. That's a good one to do. Onions is another good one that you can do. Carrots is another good one that you can do. And those have got a lot of nutrition in them. I love doing carrots. Carrots like sun. But getting minimal sun and stuff, you can get by with some of that. And you also look, if you're in one of those areas where you're really restricted, the sun's coming in and you're getting a couple hours for that, go buy you a $25 sunlight, have it on a timer, and let it come on for a couple hours.
There you go. There's more than one way
You know
to
what I'm
skin a
saying?
cat. Yes, sir.
Or more than one way to skin a cat, and that gives you that little extra bump of growth light that you want. Just always make sure that you've got it where it's safe. But that's absolutely a lot of people don't know that they can do that, but
Right.
yes, you can. We know the areas of hoop house growing, basement grows, and other types of ways that we grow stuff in our structures and warehouses by those lights, and plants do just well.
Well, grow lights have come a long way too in the past
They have.
decade. It's amazing how how the LEDs have changed the grow light industry. Blows me away, the technology they've got in lighting now. So it's
Well, I
definitely.
think as we
Go ahead.
I think as we move through the time of history, there'll be more and more inside grows. We already have a robust amount going on around the country.
Yeah, especially in
And
the cannabis market.
especially in the cannabis market, and then in the tower growing, there's a lot of leafy vegetables and stuff like that you may go to Harris Teeter or other places that you may shop and buy that were grown inside.
And even through aquaponic programs too. Now it's coming on.
Aquaponic, all of those hydroponics, aquaponics, and the difference of those. Tell us the difference about those, Ray. People don't really understand that aquaponic one, I don't think.
Aquaponics is your growing medium is water. and that's it. The roots base and all is submerged in water, and for the fertilizer is an organic. Well, it's fish poop. Okay,
Right.
In the aquaponics programs, it's excrement from fish, and it's circulated and used as a fertilizer. And it's there. Sam Fleming was 100gardens.org has aquaponic programs for put tools in schools, basically program where he is working with different different schools around the community and country in the aquaponics program. And it's doing great, teaching, growing through aquaponics in many locations now. And it really works. It's a great thing, great system.
Yeah, so many of our kids nowadays, and with all the electronics and everything that they got to do, they're very active in so many other things. And garden sort of happens to be maybe something that's not within their life cycle or whatever, but it's the foundation of all life. That you don't have food, you don't have life. So everyone should know how to grow. It should be taught in school. I know that my grandchildren, every one of them, are becoming master growers. I forced it on them when they were in diapers, and now they can't look. They look forward to taking and putting it in the ground. My oldest one, Tegan, she's got.
I was going to ask about Tegan.
Yeah, Tegan she's here now. I told her, I said she ought to come and say hey to Ray, but she's got a little pineapple. It's a cute little thing. It's probably 4 inches big now. That's already. Awesome. And her peach tree that she just got put in is blooming, and we've got the yellow tags around it, catching the little to stop the worms from getting in and eating the peaches. And
how old is Tegan
pretty cool
now?
Stuff like that. She's 10.
Goodness gracious.
And I'm gonna tell you something.
Lord, time flies, doesn't it?
It's out of control. She asked me last night. She says, "You got?" I says, "I want some beans." She says, "I want some beans." I says, "What kind of beans?" I said, "We went to 3 different places where I store beans at." She says, "Those, the chick beans, and chickpeas rather." And she loves those, and she plants those, and she grows those, and they eat. They'll go out there. You want to know where they're at? They may be out by the garden, just sitting there eating.
Now that's the way we need to raise our kids, right there.
Exactly, because I look at it, Ray. At 70 years old, how did I even get here? And I look back at my childhood. I rode ponies or walked from holler to holler in the hills, and what we ate during the course of the days was apples, because we're coming from the Appalachian. There was apples everywhere.
Got it.
And
all right, we're going to take our final break. I want you to hold the phone. We'll close it up and wrap this show up when we get back from the break, if you don't mind, Billy. Billy Stiles on the phone talking, well, it's spring. Everybody's getting itchy. Plant their gardens. Well, that's what we've been talking about. Don't get too carried away, too impatient, because you'll suffer from it if you do. We'll come back with more Billy Stiles and wrap this show up.
Out more about the show? Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Owens Chimney Systems is known for all professional chimney services since 1989, including chimney cleaning, recommended annually, chimney evaluations and inspections, any and all chimney repairs and restorations, gas fireplace and gas fire log service, furnace cleaning, cleaning out one of the most overlooked appliances in the home. Get it done right the first time. That's Owens Chimney Systems at 704-554-9595. Or you can visit us online at owenschimneysystems.com.
Go outside and take a look at your home. Are the gutters doing their job? The number one enemy to your home is water. Most homes are built with small, inadequate gutters and small downspouts. ABS Insulating has a division of the company that does nothing but gutter services. All gutter services: cleaning, maintaining, repair, new downspouts, replacement, and new gutters with many types available. They're a leader when it comes to gutter protection. Call ABS Insulating today, 704-821-4343 or absinsulating.com.
Steve Helms here with the Al Metal Driving Corporation. The Al Metal Driving Corporation is a full-service driving company. Regardless of the problem, we can handle it. Does your clothes dryer take longer than 45 to 50 minutes to dry a load? If so, you need your dryer vent cleaned or checked. The clothes dryer is the most inefficient appliance in the house and should never take longer than 45 to 50 minutes. Call Al Metal Dryer Vent today at 704-846-8368 or online at almetaldryervent.com. That's 704-846-VENT. Have you cleaned your dryer vent lately?
Hi, I'm Sam Otero of AteroMedia.com. Someone asked me once what I love the most about my 30-year-long career as a media producer and educator, and I have to say the fact that not only do I get to create for a living every day, but then I get to teach and help others to use the content and gear systems that I've built for them themselves. You need professional live event video production or streaming services? You're in great hands with our family business. All 5-star Google reviews. That's ETTARO Media.com.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. About Your House next week. You with me there, big guy?
I am, and I got a little special guest here with me.
Hello, Ray. Hey, Tegan, how you doing, little girl? You're not little
Good.
anymore. You done growed up.
Yeah.
Good to talk to you.
Tall as her green beans. I just wanted her to say hey to you.
Well, I'm glad you did. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Yes, sir.
that.
We want to talk about dirt or soil?
Well, I was going to say the last thing on the agenda today is you can't grow anything unless you got good dirt. And
That's right.
And if you don't have earthworms, you don't have good dirt.
That's right.
Talk to them about
And
dirt.
you know that 1 tablespoon of a good mineralization, not fertilization, minerals, sea minerals, put in let's say a big area where I may be harvesting or raising earthworms is enough to feed them for a year.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Look, earthworms can burrow up to 12 feet deep, folks. They're not just right there on the surface. And I've got videos and I've watched it with my own eyes out in the landscape on my knees. And that's why I call it Brown Knee University. You learn so much. Is I've seen them come up and grab the leaf and pull it back down in the hole.
Wow.
Earthworm.
Yep.
And it's the most amazing thing. It stuck beside me so much I couldn't think of anything else for a week after that. It was just so amazing. But the soil is the foundation of all life, and we need to make sure that we understand how to feed the soil just on your own piece of the earth. You know, your backyard, your front yard, wherever. That soil needs to be fed. And no 10, 10, 10, 17, 18, 24, 12, or none of those other fertilizer formulas feed the soil. They bypass the soil and feed the plant. So there's a good garden blend that you can get over to Andolino's Supply over close to an Indian Trail by First Baptist Church. then there's all kind of inputs that you can put into it to feed the plants through the year.
Yep. I hear you, but you got to have good dirt, right?
And you need to have enough depth also, Ray.
What is the right depth?
And a lot of people miss that. And then when you got the compaction up underneath, you just cultivated 6-8 inches of soil or 10 inches of soil, and you think everything's great. And underneath it is deadpanned or hard and compacted. And that water table then will be above that and can prune off your roots through phytophthora or root rot. If I'm doing a garden, I want it to be at least cultivated 2 feet deep. In the world of farming, where I come from, our tractor creates what's called subsoil compaction. We plow the top 2 feet, but the soil underneath it is still compacted from our heavy equipment running over it.
Right.
And so when the water runs down through that soft soil, it gets down to that hard soil, and it takes a while to permeate down into it. So it sits there and it starts rising up in rainy seasons, and there's where you get high water table and issues with your plants. So it's always good to have, and you notice in farming that we'll elevate some of our rows, whether it be potatoes or squash or other things like that. And I tell you, for that squash borer that's going to come in and lay havoc on a lot of people, the little yellow stickies will help with that too. And also think of companion planting. And then if you're going to feed that soil as you go through the year, you want a good organic fertilizer. And if you can find one that has all of the biology in it, that's what you're wanting to feed that soil. If you want more in depth of how to do it, you can call me and I'll give you a list of stuff to go purchase and buy and put together.
Well, I know that clay, if you've got a backyard and it's got clay in it, for example, you're going to have to you need to amend the soil, right?
Right,
Billy.
Right.
And with organic material and good organic material.
And what is that material doing? It's actually food for the microbes, and they scurry around and burrow around in the soil, and that creates oxygen, a way for water and air to get in and out. And their waste that they leave behind from eating that matter is the food and nutrition for the plants that you're growing.
Yep. And it's amazing, too. And I know firsthand because I've amended my soil, my backyard of a house I lived in for 13 years, and I had more earthworms than I could ever believe. And I worked on that soil for about 3 years developing it. And but when it was time to use that soil for what it's intended for growing, it was amazing how effective that growth was.
My God.
It just makes a tremendous difference. And you can't go out and make instant dirt either, can you, Billy?
You can't buy it.
You
can't buy it.
You got to make it, and it takes time, maybe 2 seasons, maybe 3. If you're really going to be a good gardener in your backyard,
And
for
you're
example.
feeding it through that whole season. You're feeding the winter microbes, the spring, and you're feeding it throughout the course of the year. Even though the activity of the soil biology is slowed in the winter months, it's still important to have that organic matter food there and keep it fed. That's going to give you a great garden. Sea minerals is the best way to grow your tomatoes or anything else because the mineralization helps that plant extract all the elements that it wants to be a super tomato, a super carrot, a super green bean.
I hear
And there's
you.
nothing like a good smelling, fresh green bean, is there?
No, it's great. I love that. Anything grown fresh on your own property, with your own hands. It's just like put tools in schools. We need to teach our kids that.
Right.
We need to put that element into our education, with schools, growing, even cooking. Kids don't have a concept of what nutritional food is any longer. It sure isn't what you buy.
I think I went to home ec whenever I was in. I don't even know if they have it nowadays.
No, they
I
don't
remember
have it.
going in there cooking in home ec. I sort of liked it.
Yeah, I enjoy cooking. I love to cook. But it's just something we need to give our kids and teach them about nutrition and how to grow. And all dirt is not equal.
Absolutely. And that stuff that they got that they call topsoil, don't get it and bring it to your house and fill up dips and holes in the yard thinking that you've done something great. Nothing likes to grow in that topsoil. No, it's a false medium.
Exactly. Well, that's what they sell you, though, isn't it?
That's right. And then so many people get misled, and it sort of breaks my heart a little bit to see it, because I know they just want to be successful. And I catch myself stopping. I had a guy the other day who was buying him and his wife was buying peach trees, and sort of walked by, and it looked like they were confused. So I went over and said hey to them, and they didn't know it was a peach tree. They liked it because of the blooms, and now they was going to go return it because it was going to have peaches on it, and she didn't want to have the mess. Time I got through talking with her, they got another one. And now they're going to have peach pies and peach cobblers
There
and all
you
that
go.
other good stuff.
Well, if you maintain it and take care of it, it's going to be a great addition.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Yeah,
people
a
need
lot
to-
of fun stuff to do out there.
Billy, it's been great talking to you again. We need to do it more often these days. I've been kind of
Absolutely.
caught up in growth this past year and trying to create a foundation for the organization. And I think we're there. So now it's time to get out and make it all happen. And
Well, good. Let me know if I can do anything for you. I'm actually was quite honored to be asked to come to a elementary school on the 11th of I think it's the 11th of April.
Awesome.
So I'm still doing that, and I sure do appreciate all that you do out there with the tools and schools, and people need to support that, and it's so much needed on that and the agricultural side, because the foundation of our survival is tradesmen and people who know how to do things. We can't get so wrapped up in our AI that we don't do anything or know anything, or it's sort of like you don't let the as been told, you don't let the person's mind develop if you only thing that you give them is AI.
That's
and
right.
let AI do everything for them, they lose the ability.
Put tools in their hands. Let them get dirt.
right.
Let them see what earthworms are all about. No question. Applications, learning, true education.
Yeah.
And well, I appreciate
and I
you
got-
calling in. We got about 3 minutes, so I'm gonna cut you loose if you don't mind.
You got it.
And
I don't, and I see you.
I appreciate you coming in and talking to us today. And we'll talk soon. Okay.
All right. Here Tegan wants to say something. Say bye, Ray.
Okay.
Bye, Ray.
Bye bye, Tegan. Good talking to you, girl.
Bye.
Take care.
Okay.
All right. And
See you,
Billy,
Ray. Bye-bye.
good. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
And folks, next week I got Mike Libretto coming in here. He's got Libretto's Pizzeria out in Ballantyne area. But we're going to talk not only about pizza, we're going to talk about restauranting in Charlotte. Mike's a veteran of Charlotte for some 25 years now, coming to Charlotte from New York. We're going to talk about the restaurant business. And I know that sounds crazy on about your house, but from what I can see around town, a lot of restaurants, a lot of cooking going on in houses. I went into a house the other day. 20-year-old cooktop. I don't think that cooktop had ever been used. It looked brand new. I'm serious. I was blown away. I said, there ain't even scratches on this thing, but hey, to each his own, but we're going to talk about that. We got a garage company coming in 2 weeks talking about your garage. Garages have turned into a big deal around Charlotte. So tune in. We're going to have a show on garages and what you can do with that space and more. So tune in every week on About Your House. Next week, Hacksaw's sitting in for Richardson. Richardson's going to take a break. Where are you going?
Probably to DC.
Going to D.C. Go to D.C. just to go to D.C.? Well, enjoy. You betcha. And Hacksaw's going to be sitting in on the board, so join us next week. Huh? 30th birthday next year. Happy birthday. So we're going to take out of here. We love you all. Take care. Go spread some love. Make it a great week. We'll see you next week right here on About Your House. Put toolsinschools.org. We need you. Go online and volunteer, be a part. That's puttoolsinschools.org. We'll see you next week.